Good morning. Raina, good morning. Let me admit everybody else. Don't know if Mike is in or not. Raina,
Hi.
you're new, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Rena. I'm here in North Carolina.
Oh, you are already in North Carolina. Nice.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
did you arrive?
Oh, I've been here quite a long time.
Wow. I'm so glad
Yeah.
that you came in, though. I want you to share what your experiences are and some tips.
So yeah, I came here about 20 years ago with my husband, and I've been here and I was trying to my name is Rena, by the way, Dr.
Uh-huh.
McCullough.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to find something for my niece. Her
Okay.
name is Elizabeth. She's trying to get on this Zoom meeting, but I think she's having a little difficulty, but she will join soon. But
Okay.
anyway, I was trying to find something for her. She's a teacher, and then I came across your page.
Okay, well,
So
good. I'm so glad you did. Well, tell her to apply at www.schoolspring.com. And yeah, School Spring without an S. Let me see if I could see if anybody else is on. I am running late because I did not wake up because my alarm was on silent. It was on, but it was
it's
on
weekend,
silent.
so
Yeah, I know that, right? Anyhow. Let me see. I'm gonna try to see if I could I need to invite the others while I because I don't think they knew that we were doing this today.
right. Let me try to get my niece also.
Okay, that sounds good. In fact, I have them. I'm gonna start recording now. Good morning. And so I just sent the reminder to everyone. I do not know if anybody else will be coming in, but I have Rena on here. Mike, she's interesting. I'm so glad that she came on. Rena, this is Mike. He's always assisting me. He and his family are now here, but this is
Oh, nice.
second year. I think this is your second year, Mike, right?
No, Doc. This is my actually my first school year, but I arrived here in the USA last February 2023.
Yeah. So I guess he started last school year at very close to the end, and then his family just came. So Mike has accomplished a lot for just a short time.
Wow, you came in
Yes,
during
Doc.
COVID times. That must
Yeah,
have been
and here's
difficult
Elizabeth.
too.
Yeah, and they're
Mhm.
really enjoying it. He's got 2 kids and his wife. Mike, did
Oh,
you
nice.
get a job yet?
Yes, no, Doc, because she's an H4,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, Mike is
Yeah.
H1B, so he's like gonna be a green card holder path, but which is really
Mhm.
harder for the wife to get a job. It's easier for the J1 visa spouse to
Right.
get a job. Yeah. So did you come here, Rena? Did you tell us about you, Rena? How did you come to North
So
Carolina?
I'm from India originally. My niece Elizabeth, she just got on
Hello.
too.
Oh, Elizabeth, hi.
Hello,
You
everyone.
both are so
Hi.
pretty. Okay.
Thank
Yeah. So you say you're
Yeah.
from India? Both of you are from India?
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were Filipino. We're just gonna adopt you.
I get that all the time.
I just
And I
thought you
have a
were.
lot of Filipino friends. All my life, I have a lot of Filipino friends, and I love the food.
Yeah, I know yours too, though. Your food, the curry and everything. Oh my gosh, so good. That's why I said,
We have
Rena,
to
you have to
party
come over.
together.
Rena lives in North Carolina. She's been for a long time. And her, Elizabeth, you say is your niece?
Yes.
Well, Elizabeth, where do you live right now?
I'm here in Thailand. I'm teaching here in Thailand for the
Oh,
past 5 years. Yeah.
okay. So people still think that you're Thailand, you're from Thai too, right?
Yes, actually, yeah. And like people tells me that like I'm from China or maybe I'm from Philippines. Yeah, I get that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But you don't
there's
look
so
like
many
from India
Filipinos
at
here.
all
Yeah.
to me.
I'm
I mean,
friends with them. Yeah.
yeah, I hate to stereotype, but it's just that your beauty, I guess, it's like an Asian in other countries, a lot of countries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a good thing, really. You just adapt it, like, yeah, you're just my peeps, you know. So Rena, you want her to come, so that will be easier for you to get here. I told your aunt Elizabeth that www.schoolspring.com. They're gonna be looking for jobs all year long because they're gonna have people that will have need like because of different things from having like one year I had to sub for someone. I was already retired, but I was asked to work locally because they could not find an English teacher, and the teacher cancer, and she could not go back to work. And so of course they always wanted to hire me permanently, but no, I can sub for you, but no, the school was across the road from my house, so I hate it. Was my alma mater. I mean, not my alma mater, where I worked the longest, for my teaching. So I just okay, I'll help you out because you cannot find somebody certified, but I'm not gonna stay another year or anything, find one in the summer. But I did finish it. I mean, she left like in the middle of the year, and I finished it. But it was so nice because I've been retired for years, and here's an opportunity to be back in the classroom. So that was nice. I mean, I still get calls every year. Merlina, will you decide to come back? Whatever. And I said, no, no, Brian. But even subbing though, I just don't have the time right now. Right now, I'm going to, where Mike and them are in Helena, and I have Helena, Brinkley, Clarendon, Barton, and possibly Earl. So maybe possibly five schools this year. I started with like 1 and then 2 and then now 3 and then now hopefully 5 if they get their board to approve it. Brinkley just called me the other day, said that that I got approved. So for sure I'm going to Brinkley. And then for sure Clarendon, for sure Barton. But Helena, I'm still waiting for approval, Mike. I did send a proposal again to Miss Mills. She asked for it. I think you have lots of new administration in Helena.
Yes, Doc, a lot.
A lot of new ones, yeah. So
Yeah, even in our department, special education department, we have a new director, which is the wife of the Central High School principal.
Oh yeah, what happened to the old one though? Former one.
She retired. Miss Billingsley retired already. Yes, no.
Well, do you know if I guess I need to meet them. I need to meet the administrators. Miss Mills want me to come over one of this time. So I'll be here next week is my start with Brinkley. So I may go over there. Miss Mills and I usually try to eat together, and talk. And so we'll see. But this year, Mike, you're still in elementary though, special ed?
Yes po, Doc. Yes po. In a CBI class.
You like it? I mean, is that the same as the one I visited you last time?
Yes, Doc. My class is getting bigger and bigger.
Really? Oh no, you got more.
Yes, po.
You have how many paras, the paraprofessionals? How many aides do you have? 3?
As of now po, I have 3. Yeah, I have 3 before.
Okay.
And then on Monday I will be having 4, but after this week they will become 3 again.
Okay.
Because they will start the PT, the speech lesson.
Okay, speech therapy. Okay. Well, they are you planning for the paras, like what they do, or they just like do things without you telling them? How does that work?
Actually, yesterday, I called for a meeting with Miss Roach, Miss Henry, and then I gave her I proposed my plans and programs to them, and also I told them that I want my paraprofessionals or my teacher assistant to know all my plans and programs because they are part of my team.
Your team, that's right.
And yeah, and when I arrived there, like what I've told you, some of them don't know what they're going to do. And of course, about the IEP of the students, they don't know the IEP of the students. And then I raised that yesterday that they should know because they are part of the team. And at the same time, IEP of the students should be, the paraprofessionals should be aware of that.
But you're
And
the
that
one
will be a
doing it, right?
problem.
You're the one
Yes
filling
po.
it out, but they're the ones that need
Yeah.
to just be aware of what
Yes
needs.
po.
Yeah.
And also, they shared to me that they don't know where the students allergy of like that. And hey, this is my first time to know. Oh yeah, I just know that. I didn't know that that this kid has an allergy in paint.
Oh
She
my
has an
gosh.
allergy in the food, like that. Because they don't know the IEP of the students.
Wow. Wow. That's kind of
And then
scary.
I told them, hey, ma'am, you're supposed to know it. Because if there's a problem or if you encounter some problem, of course you will tell that to the lawyer or you will tell to the investigators that no, we don't know the IEP, and of course they will call the district office for that. They will
They will call
question,
you,
hey,
Mike.
why this why this staff don't know the IEP of the students, which is they supposed to know it.
Do you have the IEP already of everybody, Mike?
We're still working on it, and according to Miss Henry, we are planning to have one Saturday to finish all of that with Miss Roach, because I think the setup to this year will be Miss Roach will be the one to do the IEP of the students, so that, to lessen our paperworks.
Oh, that's nice
And
that you will have that.
you know how busy, you know how busy the SPED departments are.
Right. Oh, so anyway, well, at least you look like it's better than last year. You already have, a little edge over last year. That's good.
Yes, but
Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, as you remember, I just arrived there last April. They pulled me out in Central High School and started on April, and I observed April, May, and June.
Yeah. You didn't really have
And
June,
then
did you? Did you have to work in June?
I think 2 weeks, 1 week of that.
1 week. Okay, I did not know that you went through all the way to June. Anyway, welcome everybody. Thank you, Mike. Oh, welcome everybody else. There's Elizabeth, there's Giselle. I didn't know if anybody else will be coming, but let's go back to Rena and Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you said you've been in Thailand for 5 years?
Yes, Dr. Merlina. I've been here in Thailand for 5 years, and I've been teaching here yeah, I'm from Northeast for 5 years, and then before coming here in Thailand, I was in the hospitality industry. I have my diploma in hospitality. I worked in a hotel also.
Okay.
Yeah, and here in Thailand, 5 years. It's been so good, like solid 5 years, good years.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you do
I've
have
been
your teaching
enjoying.
degree, don't you? Do you have your teaching degree also?
I have my bachelor degree. Yeah, I have my teacher license. Yeah.
Okay, but your 5 years of experience, is it on teaching or is it working in a hospitality department?
No, teaching.
Teaching. Okay.
Yes.
You said you're teaching English?
Yes, I've been teaching English for communication.
Okay.
The
And so that's
basic English.
elementary,
Yeah.
Elementary or high school?
Elementary school.
Okay. Well, I just typed my email there, McCullough@gmail on the chat. So if you want to keep that, email me your resume and cover letter, and then
Sure,
three reference letters. Usually it comes from your supervisor, a colleague, and friend, or somebody for character reference. And then what I'll do is I send that to the administrators in Arkansas and surrounding areas. But then don't just wait for that. You need to be proactive and go to schoolspring.com also. And Mike, do you have that link for my that multiple listings that I have? Do you have that one, the job postings from different states?
I'm not sure.
I'll check on your on my email, Doc.
Yeah, I have that on my drive. If I could do that while I'm talking to you. Giselle, while I'm looking for it, Giselle, can you tell them anything that a message that you want to share with them? This is their new Elizabeth and Raina. Giselle is my regular. She always attends. Did I lose everybody? Okay. So Giselle, do you have anything to share with them?
Okay.
Hi, Doc. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, do you have anything that you wanted to share with them, like some tips? This is their very first time of attending. If I found it, and let me get the link on this. So Giselle, tell them about Abby and Leslie. Those are your cousins.
Hello, Doc.
Yeah.
Okay, Doc. Hello, everyone. I am Giselle. I'm still here in the Philippines, but two of my cousins are already there in Arkansas. They started last year.
Oh, nice.
And I think they have a good life there.
They do.
I think they enjoyed their work. Abby and Lee are in Barton's, I think.
Barton, close to. This is only like about what? 15 minutes from Mike. Or 20 minutes maybe. Mike, how long is Barton from Helena?
I think 15 minutes, Doc.
Yeah.
15 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, so you see each other, don't you? Leslie and Abby? Usually they attend. Usually they attend and they're not here today. I wonder.
I think
You see them? I'm trying to get the link for this thing here. It's not coming up. Are we still on?
I'm here.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes, Doc.
Well, Elizabeth, do you have any question for us?
I think
or to Giselle?
Yeah, I've been teaching here in Thailand for 5 years, but I'm looking for like opportunity. Like I want to learn, I want to grow. So like, yeah, if you have any like, you know, suggestion, like how to I like, go for like job opportunities, like, if you can help me out, I mean like to go through the process.
Okay, that's how those are good questions. We'll try to answer some of them. I just posted a really important link here to everyone. This is a link to all the 50 states. But since your aunt is in North Carolina, you need to find under N for North Carolina. It's on ABC order. And then find the job offers near North Carolina. But of course, she's not too far from me. Like what, Rina, 8-9 hours from me, maybe?
Yeah, it's like around there, 8-9 hours.
Yeah, so that is not bad. So if you get like a job around closer to Arkansas, surrounding Arkansas, that's not too bad from your aunt. But I think North Carolina, South Carolina, what are your other neighboring states that you would want her to check out?
Georgia.
Georgia?
Well, yeah, Dr. Merlina. So after I saw the link on your page about Apply Track on several other states that could be hiring, so we learned about that, and that's where we just a couple of days ago we submitted her application in Durham public schools.
Okay.
Because it's right here, and I thought at first when she comes here, if she gets the opportunity here, it'll be much more easier for her.
Right.
But if it doesn't work out, then I would like for her to try somewhere else also. Arkansas, possibly. I think it's beautiful. I think you all are like a big family there. So
Yeah, we are.
yeah, I would definitely, like she said, she's willing to try. She's willing to, learn more and stuff. And I would definitely like to give her a opportunity. So yeah, if it doesn't work out over here, I mean, maybe she can try in Arkansas. I think it will be lovely for her.
Yeah.
So I will follow. I mean, Elizabeth, I sent you the link from Dr. Merlina. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
No problem.
Yeah, so Dr. Merlina said 3 references, email her your resume and everything. So we'll go ahead and do that as well, just to see if that would be okay.
Yeah, the successful ones have been doing 8 to 10 applications a day. I mean, they have been like, just to increase your chances, do different schools. And then what happens is that you can, as you know, there's a sponsored job. There's some sponsors that you could do for J1. They are out of slots possibly now, but what you can do is if a school is desperate, especially at this time of the school year, they have actually been able to sponsor H-1B visa, which is better than J1. J1 is like a temporary, like a teacher exchange visa. But the H-1B, like Mike is actually a path to citizenship. You actually get a green card. So so like Mike and them, they could when they get the paperwork to apply for green card and get approved, they will be in the green card path. Or once they are here 6 years, they will go ahead and get the green card too. And 6 years is the maximum for H-1B. But the J1 is kind of tricky. You have 3 years that you teach here, and then supposedly, when you go and interview at the U.S. Embassy, you need to say yes to this question. Yes, you're going back to the Philippines or to your country, to your native country, and teach 2 years in order to share your culture, or whatever you learn in culture, whatever about the States. And then you can come back here for 2 more years. But because we have a shortage of teachers in the U.S. right now, they have been waiving that. So people have been teaching all 5 years. And then hopefully if the school really likes you, they'll go ahead and after 2 years, they'll go ahead and apply for an H-1B for you so you can get a green card. So that's what's been going on here. In fact, the very first one I brought here is Maria. This is her 3rd year. And her school is going to be has been asking me to help get her H-1B. So most schools, because if they like you, they will go ahead and sponsor you to stay here. And so
so initially, like if Elizabeth gets the opportunity, she will get a J1 visa from the school that hires her. And after 2 years, if the school likes her, then the school will sponsor her for H-1B visa.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
But if she can talk to the school about doing H-1B, I mean straight to H-1B, that would be less paperwork for her. But not very many schools would say yes to that though, unless they're desperate, because it's it's kind of scary for them to be like, oh, I'm responsible. We are the responsible person, or the organization is responsible. So they're kind of scared about that. But once they know you, they usually are not hesitant to go ahead and sponsor. So yeah, here's another link. So this is now here's another link. This is for the J1 visa sponsors. Hey, Mike, do you mind doing me a favor and make a page, a new document, and put these 3 things on it? So if we ever have any new folks here, we can send them all 3, from my email to School Spring, and then job postings, and then the visa sponsorship. So 4 things there that I shared, because these are the 4 things that people need to know. This J1 sponsorship, usually by June, July, the visas, they're allowed 65,000 visas, I think, but they're gone by July, they're gone usually, because it's for the whole, the whole world, and that's the limit. And so the H-1B visa, there is if the school has and this is an important knowledge to know, if the school has a partnership with a college or university, that means that they're teaching, for example, in high school, they're teaching concurrent credits, which means that, for example, they're teaching English, and that English course would also count for college. Those are called concurrent credits. That means that they have a partnership with the university. They don't have to go through the quota, and that's what Mike and them went through. They don't have to do the quota because they are exempted from the quota because of that reason, that they have a partnership with the university. And another reason is that if they have your master's and above, then there's also another thing where you will be also exempted from it's a different path to you. It's still H-1B, but it's a different thing that you can check off there, saying that you have your master's and above. You have like an extraordinary ability or something like that. That means that you have more education. So not just your bachelor's, but master's and above, and then those that have their doctorate degree, like I have my doctorate degree. So if you have your doctorate degree from any country, that's definitely a very, very quick way to come. And if you want to teach college, there's a different visa altogether, and it's really quick. Like our friend here, Dr. Layla, I don't know if she's here, but Dr. Layla, she was here pretty quickly. She's in Vanderbilt right now, and she's wanting to move to Arkansas. I've been trying to look for a job for her here. And so she's the only one there. And so, but then if you have your J1 visa, if you're under J1, usually you're allowed, I don't know if I'm correct about this, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you know anything about this, but you are allowed like one transfer without any reason. But then a lot of times you should be able to transfer because you have a reason. Like some reasons include like they're just unhappy there or at the school and they have to transfer, or they don't feel like supported. They don't feel like support from anybody. Like in Arkansas, that's why we're very strong there, because I'm supporting them, and then they also support each other. They're so strong there. They're like sisters. They're like brothers. They're like families there. They have celebrate together. Any occasions, they are there together. So they're very strong. I think they really made that community strong. Don't you agree, Mike? That you seem to be really close there.
Yes, Doc. Yes,
yeah, the folks in the area, they feel like they're really there for each other, and I think that's a good thing. So we field trips together. They come over here to Salem a lot, and they would pick apples, and and I need to take them fishing soon if they come. Middle of September, save the date, like that the weekend, because Tracy, I don't know if you remember Tracy here, local Filipina here. She's having a party here on the lake, by by Horseshoe, and they're gonna have lechon and everything. So you all are invited. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you all are invited. About she said to save the
and
date.
I think, Doc, next week will be a long weekend.
Yeah, we have a long weekend. I don't know, Abby and Leslie and them we're planning to come here, so you all are welcome. But the problem is it's not a problem, but it's just that I have a guest house here, but our daughter Libby will be here because she has a reunion for class reunion. So if you do come, you'll have to stay at mom's. So you all can let me know, and I'll make arrangements for you. Or there is a hotel here. Leslie and Abby were able to stay in one room before, and they're like $69 or something. So they're paying like $35 a piece. But we can do all kinds of things. Like we have a 1 hectare pond here, and it's loaded with fish, because this has been there for 25 years or more. So these fish there are huge, but they can come fishing. We can go do other field trips here. They have been talking about going to Branson, but of course, because I have company, we're going to be limited about going out of town. We can do things in the Salem, but not out of state if I have company. I don't want to be rude to my family who are coming, but I don't think she minds if we have other people here. She has met some of them. But Mike, what are your plans with your family for Labor Day weekend?
Actually, Doc, we will stay here because I need to finish my thesis.
Okay. Are you graduating? Are you about to graduate?
Yes, Doc. Hopefully after once I finish my thesis writing, because I re-enrolled this semester. If I will not finish it this term, I need to re-enroll it again. And then in term 3, I need to re-enroll again as a whole. Will repeat at
Oh
I
no.
will pay another 25,000 pesos.
Oh no.
But for term 1 and term 2, they will consider us as continuing students. So I need to finish it.
Yeah, you have a deadline, sounds like.
And
But that's
and
$500. That's cheap, Mike. That's cheap.
yes, no. And also, I'm starting on my another license time. I need to complete the 6 trainings online courses. Uh,
For
you
what?
try that ADE for the special education provisionary license. Then I joke to Miss Kelsey. Hey, Miss Kelsey, I will be having a 2 license now. So yes, you need it, but you need
Yeah.
to complete it.
Yeah, you complete it because that is where you're teaching at. You have to be, they are usually give you about 2 years. They call them a waiver. For 2 years, you have 2 years to complete whatever it is that you are, if you're out of license, you're teaching it at out of license. They have to do a paperwork saying like a waiver for you, and schools do not want to have waivers. So they really, they really do not like for folks to continue having waivers. So you need to finish it since you are in special ed. Mike came here as a technology person. so
Yes.
now he got moved to special ed because his master's degree will be in special ed. So if you get that, if you get that thesis done, then that would be your path, because they will need your diploma and your transcript of records, the evaluated one, in order for you to turn it into the Department of Education, ADE, Arkansas Department of Education.
Yes,
so
there's a lot of requirements that Miss Mills gave to me last time. Me and the other SPED teacher here in our school, and we need to complete that. And I think we need also to take the praxis. I think 2 praxis exam. One is I need to my minimum score will I'm trying to recall what is the minimum score. I think 155, and the other one is 148. And wow, when I saw it, how can I do that?
You can do it. You can do it. Yeah, you can do it. It's not too hard. Anyway, so if you have just been paying attention to your to the laws, I think there will be a lot of like in the test here are a lot of like cases like, this student has this, what will you do, and so on. And so you just if you remind me later, I actually have a friend that took I have a bunch of friends that took that, and they have given me some kind of tips. So remind me later, and I will share them with you. But anyway, Rena and Elizabeth, do you have any question? I did type Arkansas Department of Education there in quotation marks. What you need to do is, if you want to know the licensure for a particular state like North Carolina, you change the word Arkansas to North Carolina and put it in quotation marks so that it will show up. And when it shows up, then you go to under licensure. Usually there's a search button on their homepage, and just put licensure. And then once you go to licensure, then you look for reciprocity. Reciprocity is a process that you go through so that they will honor the your original license, your teaching license. So they have a requirement, like in Arkansas, one of the requirements is TOEFL, and that means TOEFL. That means Teachers of English as a Foreign Language. It's actually a language proficiency test, and not all of the states have that, but Arkansas is one of them that requires that. That means they have to pass this test called TOEFL that has English, that has speaking, listening, and writing and reading. So you're doing it. I don't remember how many hours, but we have most of our folks here that are here have already passed it. Mike passed it before he even came here. Mike came from R, and you can actually take that wherever you are. It's under ets.org.
ets.org. Yes.
Yeah, you are familiar with that? ets.org. Is the Educational Teaching Service. Yeah, I put it on the chat thing too. So Mike, have you been keeping up with all these links and put it in one page?
Yes,
yeah,
I'm keeping it.
Yeah, so ets.org is where the TOEFL is, TOEFL, and there is a review book that you can buy, and it shows you the format of this, and I would highly recommend it. Any of the tests under ITS have like a review book, and like when I did my license, I, for administration, I was a former administrator. I bought their book, and it was so helpful because the format itself, how it's formatted, like case studies, for example, and so on, and you have a practice of those, and then if you're ready or not. So I would imagine that would be something that you might want to check into. So, but the step one for you is to check at which state you want to study, to teach at. So with that link that I have with all the 50 states, find the state you want. And then after that, you go to their Department of Education and look for their licensure and see if they need TOEFL or not. TOEFL, and another one is Praxis. And Praxis is also a test under ATS. In any test in the United States that for teachers and even students is under ATS. That's where students will get their SAT test, their ACT test. Those are from ATS. So ats.org is something that you need to be familiar with. Praxis test is another test that, it's actually a test for the area where you're teaching. So for example, you're going to be teaching English. And then if you are like an English teacher for high school and you want to teach elementary or vice versa, they may ask you to take a Praxis test for that particular level. Like my sister was teaching middle school and she wanted to teach junior high. And so she took that test, so there's a level like a K4 test, a 4-8 test, and then a 9-12 test. And so some states are actually requiring international teachers to take Praxis. And in Arkansas, we do that. They do that. They want teachers to take that plus other, like Arkansas. Do they still require Arkansas history, Mike? Do you know? Arkansas history.
Which no?
Still? Yes, no. Did you have to take Arkansas history? No.
No.
No. So what did you have to take in Arkansas IDS?
Wait, I'll check here. I think I forgot my folder at school. They told me that I need to take the science of reading, though.
Science of reading.
That is also requirements. The ALP also.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
Well, the science of reading is something that they are also requiring teachers here. So there's a lot of requirements for Arkansas, and other states do not have as much requirement. But those Praxis may be a requirement for everybody, for all the 50 states, maybe. Because that's something that they want to make sure that you have the general knowledge for the area that you are teaching. So it's really like, for example, in English, you're going to be English. My sister said you need to know a lot about the particular literature that's going to be being read at a certain level. Like, you have a list of classic literature that's being read in 9th grade, 10th, 11th, whatever it is the grade that you have. And then be familiar with it, because they're going to be asking you things about what are the themes of that, what are, so they were asking you some comprehension questions about certain literature. And if you don't know it, because you're supposed to be familiar with it at certain grade level, then you're not going to do well, because you're just going to be, so you just be familiar with those. You can see a lot of if you just get the title. I need to see if I have a list somewhere. Get a title and then just go Google them, and there's like a lot of like just more of a gist of it online in Google. So you can see a lot of those. So you just be familiar with it, and that should be helping you. But right now, your first step is just to look at the states and see which one would hire you. I would not worry about, I have to be in North Carolina, because whoever's still looking now, because you can always go wherever after your first year. So yeah, because to me, if you meant to come to the US, he's gonna make it happen. I always believe that. Yeah. And so you're so lucky and you're so blessed that you have your aunt here, because a lot of the folks would come here and they don't know anybody. They know me, and I'm like the aunt of everybody. But it's nice but it's nice to have your actual aunt to be here to help you, because I think that's what happened to was it Sheila, Mike, that has a relative here? She has a relative here, right, Mike, from Beaumont? She has an aunt that's helping her.
Ma'am Sheila. Do you have a relative here, Ma'am Sheila?
Is Sheila here?
Sheila. Yes,
She's
no.
not here.
Yes,
And
Doc. Good
also,
morning.
Yeah, she has a
I
relative
have
here.
here Sir Elmer again, one of my former colleagues, and also Ma'am Mirna. She's
Ah,
also a very supportive teacher also in Qatar
okay.
and a friend of mine.
Mike
She's like my
is bringing
sister
all of the
in
Qatar folks here. That's cool. But anyway,
Yes, Doc, to answer your question, I have the cousin of my husband here, sir.
yeah.
And I also have my cousins also.
Yeah. So isn't that helpful though, that you have somebody here that you can always call, or they come visit you, or, helping you. They helped you set up your apartment, didn't they?
Yes, Doc. They
Yeah.
helped me a lot. They provide everything because in the apartment it's so bare, so they provide me everything.
Yeah. So Rena, that might be what you have to do for Elizabeth when she comes.
Yeah.
And that is so good that you have that. But we have Goodwill here that's really cheap.
Yeah.
So we have Salvation Army, all those places, like a charity organization thing, that they would have donations for everyone, and it's so cheap. Normally like a couch set might be $1,000 and you can get it for $50. It's really
Right.
you have it to have clean.
You can find a way. Yeah.
You can find you can,
Yeah.
once you get that, once you get that good pay, because in the pay for the Philippines and here is 10 times, for example.
Right.
And so from 5,000 to 50,000 in the, they
Right.
just passed the law here in Arkansas that everybody has to start at 50,000. So nobody's making less than 50,000 here. And
Oh, wow.
and North Carolina is even higher. North Carolina is one of the higher ones as well. So yeah, Texas is higher. So those
Okay.
those are states that are higher. You can always go to their you can always Google that. What is the average salary at whatever state? But you can go to their Department of Education, and once you get to their Department of Education, you go to, or go to the school's website, whatever it is that you're looking at, and in there it's a required information under their board information, school board information, and they have to post their salary schedule. So it's because you are being paid by the public, taxes and funds, then they have to post what everybody makes. So you will know what the principal makes, what your colleagues make. You can do that at any website in the school we're in. So
what is that I'm sorry, what is that website again?
You go to the website of the school that you're applying. So for example, if she's applying at Durham, she needs to go to the Durham school website. And then under the Durham, then she will find usually it's called under board information, BOARD information. I don't know, some people will call it differently, but these are the required information that has to be at every website in the schools. And some of those things there are the salary schedule, and their meetings for the board meetings every month, and then the minutes of the meeting. So those things are required by the U.S. Department of Ed, which means all the states have to have those. So when I did my when I did my thesis for my doctorate, I did like national board, the effects of the impact of national board and higher ed, which one is more impactful on national board certified teachers. So I wanted to know which one was more impactful at making you a better teacher, and the factor is about the social economic status of kids. So if you're free, reduced, or paying lunches. So I found that that there are information there that is really helpful, because I have to see who's got their doctorate degree, who's got their specialist degree, master's degree, and who's got their national board, and it's all listed under those required board information. So I was so happy. And then what I found? I found that if you have both, if you have your master's and national board, then you are very impactful, because you have learned so much, about how to teach, because you have both. Because North Carolina has one of the states that had the most national board. They're very supportive of national board there. In fact, at one time, I don't know if they still do, but at one time, the state, Georgia and North Carolina, Florida, they were giving like 10% or 5 or 10% of their pay as an extra bonus if you have your national board. And the nice thing about it is you can teach at 31 out of the 50 states. You're like having this, you call a HQT, highly qualified teacher. So you're HQT if you have your national board. So that means that you don't have to go jump all the hoops because you already have your national board, which you have to have taught at least 3 years for you to even start national board. So you don't worry about that until you get your green card. So that's another step for later. But yeah, okay.
Doc,
yes.
Doc, is it okay to for the applicants to take the Illinois teaching license, right?
Yeah. Why?
Because I heard from Ma'am Jing that Miss Mek, who recently got her H-1B visa, and I think they passed already the H-1B visa, and they're waiting for their flight day.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for her.
Yes po.
Yeah.
And also, according to her, she got her Illinois teaching license, and because of that, she got a lot of interviews.
Okay.
Right?
She got her Illinois, I'm sorry, she got her Illinois license while she was in Philippines or after she came here?
She's still in Qatar.
Qatar. Well, it's okay. Yeah. Illinois and also New Mexico. Those are the two states that are easy to get, and you can get it online. Yeah. So New Mexico and Illinois, go to Illinois Department of Education or New Mexico Department of Education and look at the reciprocity requirements, and you can do it online. I think it's $10 or whatever for one of them. I don't know if
I think
Illinois.
200 po, Doc.
How much?
200 for Illinois and 150 for New Mexico teaching license.
Oh,
and
okay. Okay.
They said that Illinois teaching license is easier to get than New Mexico.
Oh, Illinois. Okay, well, it's good to know. We need to share that. Mike, if you don't mind, system technology guys, so I depend on him. Can you go in the Illinois Department of Education, please, and then we'll share your screen, and then we'll see if we could find the requirements that they have, because I know about New Mexico's requirement. I do not know how easy Illinois is, but if you have that license already, what happens is that states might be afraid of hiring you because they're afraid you might not get licensed in their state. But if you already have a license in any of the other states, then they know it's going to be reciprocated. Okay. So that's why it helps when you have your license in one of the states here. It doesn't have to be the state where you're teaching in, but they will always honor each other's licenses. For example, in Arkansas, the cutoff score for like social studies teachers is actually higher than Mississippi. And you know what, some of the, a bunch of the coaches are always taking social studies as their other course that they teach. And you know what our coaches have been doing? They've been going taking their test in Mississippi. And then that way they get their license through Mississippi, and then they do a reciprocity in Arkansas. That's been a secret within the coaching world. And I found out about that when I was an administrator. I said, what in the world is going on? Why are we getting this Mississippi license and then they want to switch it to Arkansas? And that's, I found out later from the coaches, oh, Dr. McCullough, that's what happens. And I'm like, oh, okay. I said, oh, that's very smart of you guys to do that. I think there's like a 4 or 5 point difference or something. And sometimes they would miss the Arkansas license by that many, but then they'll pass it. I mean, that's considered passing in Mississippi. So that's, you get resourceful, I guess, to get your license. But yeah, I think the Illinois teaching license would be a really good one to have. And then you can just transfer it to whatever state that you want to be in for real. Yeah. Mike, thank you for that tip. So how did Meg know about that?
Don't know. I did not ask her po.
She's very resourceful.
And yes po. And actually, I'm inviting her here in our Zoom for
oh my
her
God.
to share her experiences.
Yeah, I hope she does. I'm so excited for. She said, I'll come to Zoom whenever I'm done with the paperwork here. And I'm like,
yes
yeah,
po, Doc, because we have a lot of teachers who are already here in the USA, and some are still on process in the papers, processing their papers. And I'm so happy that some of my friends are here because I posted it in my Facebook group, in my page, on my page. I have our kumare who's joining now, and I have 1, 2, 3 co-teachers who are also in Qatar.
Oh my gosh, Mike, you're
glad that
administrator in Qatar is gonna be mad at you for stealing all the
And also I have here one of the well, how can I describe her? How can I describe him? She's a social studies teacher, Doc.
Okay.
He's a nice teacher. He's a good.
Okay, you want to start with talking to him? I'm gonna want to talk to each one of you guys. So yes, you want to call him first? Is it Elmer?
Sir Jacob.
Oh, Jacob. Okay, Jacob.
Yeah,
I guess
Sir Jacob.
I've never talked to Jacob before. Rena and Elizabeth, I know this might be in your country too, because they're, you know, Rena is from India and Elizabeth is in Thailand. But anyway, so in the Philippines, we never call each other's, they never, I do, but they never call each other's first name. They usually sir this and mom this, even in their house. And I was like,
yeah, it's the same with us too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was very surprised because I guess I've been in the US, you know, since I was 19 years old. So I got my education here. And so I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you so informal in your own home? And he said, well, we just cannot drop that, you know, the person's name. But anyway, so that's that. So you're in Thailand, you're in India, you're doing that too? Okay, yeah. I didn't do that. Okay, maybe that's an Asian thing. I don't know. Okay, go ahead, Sir Jacob.
More respectful.
Yeah, I think so. But it's so weird from the point of view, from an American point of view. I guess I'm meant to Americanize now. It's really a little different, a little strange to me, just because here we're so informal. Like they don't even here administrators, they just want to be called their first names. You know, a bunch of them. There's some of them that are too formal. You have to call me Dr. So-and-so. I don't. No, not me. Call me Merlina. And that's what I wanted my teachers to call me, because I want them to feel like I'm just with you. I'm a learner like you. You know, I'm happen to be in this leadership role, but I'm still a learner like you, you know, an educator like you. But, you know, because I have a servant leadership style like Jesus. So I want to be serving, not being served, you know. So, yeah. Okay. So Jacob, what are you up to?
So Joseph.
Joseph or Jacob?
So Jacob, unmute ka muna.
Yeah, you have to unmute.
Yeah, that's it. Good evening, everyone. I'm Joseph. Yeah, my surname is Jacob, of course. Quite
Jacob. Okay.
Yeah. So I've been I'm handling social studies 10. Mike was my former colleague here in Qatar. Unfortunately, he left us for a better opportunity abroad.
In the greener grass, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my background. I've been teaching social studies for 22 years or 23 years. I also had an IB certificate because I taught in an international school in the Philippines, Southville International School.
That's gonna be you. Make sure you put that in your resume and you put that in your cover letter.
I have an IB. It's my specialization is theory of knowledge.
Yep, that's a big thing. Yeah. Okay.
That's it. So basically, yeah, and I'm trying to apply in the US, and I hope Mr. Mike pirates me.
Who can help you? If somebody can help you next to me, would be Mike.
Yeah, that's my background.
Yeah. Yeah, Mike is my right hand. He's always helping. Yeah. So anyway, what do you want to do here? I mean, like when you come here, what do you plan to be? Like, are you planning to teach social studies, or are you planning to? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Actually, I have an application in one of the schools there. It's it's the school of I think it's Mom Helen is there. Yeah, I
Beaumont, ma'am, in Beaumont Independent.
Beaumont, okay. Hey, that always helps when you have somebody like, you know, like Sheila, for example, and she could talk to the right person. Your HR or human resource department usually makes that, you know, the choosing of who to interview. So Sheila, you need to be in good side of that one. Make some adobo or something for that person.
Yes, adobo is the best.
Yeah, Elizabeth, you have to make curry for somebody in order to talk to them about. I mean, yeah,
absolutely.
Miss Rena, you need to talk about Elizabeth and all that, you know. So yeah, I think you can win people by food. I'm telling you. I mean, to me, it's not bribe. It's just like being in goodwill, like being right for you. And I'm not trying to tell you, well, I have to give you this in order to hire somebody. It's not that. It's just that I want to be in your good side. You know, that's kind of how I look at it. And because, you know, nobody wants bribe. You know, nobody wants to be bribed, especially here in the US. That's a big insult, you know, but you can be in their good side by feeding them. Anyway, Sheila, so if you want to be friends with that HR person, that should help Jacob or whoever else that you're helping. So do they have a need right now of social studies in Beaumont, Texas?
Yes, look, they have hiring.
They have hiring. Okay. So hopefully, Jacob, you will get that.
That's why I sent the link to Sir Joseph Jacob po.
Oh, good. Now, did you send him the link for the interview tips that I have? Because that's really helpful too. That's another thing that I need to.
Would you mind sending it to Elizabeth and me as well? The interview tips and the.
Do you have that already, Arena?
The interview tips?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think I have it.
Okay, I'm gonna add it here because these are things that I need to have. This is a PowerPoint I made, and it has all the questions that you can possibly get, and then I have the answers as well. And that would be something study.
I saw that also, Doc, in your email. Well, I'm looking for
find it,
some
Mike,
of your,
if you don't mind to post it.
Yes.
I think if you put it in one document, Mike, that would really be handy for them to have.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah. So
and also, Doc,
that's all. I think that's my short introduction. It's nice to meet all of you, and I hope we
also, Sir Jacob, can you please add also some of the sports that you can coach?
Yes. What are the, you need to include that every time you get interviewed. You need to make sure you tell them what sports can you teach, can you coach.
I handle the student council, and I do a lot of social immersion, community immersions. And then I could also teach a basic basketball thing, something like that.
You can say, I will be willing to teach or coach basketball, or maybe at first I can be an assistant coach and then later become a main coach. And that's something that you can do. And hey, I want you to watch your hand, Jacob. Your hand is crossed. That means you are closed. You need to be open. Okay.
Like this.
Open. Yes. Closed is never. If I'm interviewing someone and they're closed, I don't even want to consider them. Okay. Make sure that your body language, 70% of our language is nonverbal. So your nonverbal language need to be open. Okay. Because that really says a lot. I have been administrator a long time. So I have interviewed so many people, and I have sat on interviews, even though that's not even my school. They were inviting me, Merlina, you're always so good at observing this, will you please set interviews? Because I would always have, I guess I'm very opinionated. I would tell them, candidate one, did you know this, there, whatever, I would know these things that they don't. That's why some of my administrative friends would ask me to sit on their interviews, because I guess I'm the most opinionated person. And I would just tell them, well, have you noticed the way that this person answered this and was always all about himself or herself, and it's not about the kids. I put a tally mark on how many times this teacher used the word students, only 2 times. That means all about herself instead of about the students. So your answer need to be always about students. How can you impact student learning? So the word student should be in your sentences a lot. So it's not about you. It's about what you can do for kids. Kids, students, however, the different synonyms for that would be something that you should include in your answers, because that means that your heart is in the right place. And you want that to be, your heart is in the right place. But that interview tips, did you see it, Mike? The interview tips, I have 3 different ones. I have the PowerPoint, and I have the PDF file, and I have the interview videos from Josephine. There are 2 videos of Josephine. Those are the 3 things that I think when you get those, that should be helpful to you, because the interview videos was by Josephine, and Maria and I actually interviewed her, and then we corrected. I did not correct much of her answer. She did so well that we recorded it, and I asked her, hey, Josephine, can I use this as something I would pass on to candidates, because they need to study this. Her answers were really good. They already had the answers I want to hear, because the answers I want to hear include the 5 core propositions, and these are the National Board core proposition. These are what's good with in teaching. So those are your knowledge of students, knowledge of content. So you have to know your students well and build a relationship with them, because it's as important as knowledge of your content, of your whatever you're teaching. So those are the first 2, knowledge of students and the knowledge of content. And then, of course, the third one is assessment. You have to assess, what does this kid know? What does my student know? That's why you need to have interest inventory at the beginning of the year. You need to have them take multiple intelligences test, or you have conversations with them. You have them write a autobiography, so that you'll know about, for example, about them. At the same time, you'll know about their writing skills. because then you can see it from how they're writing. Do they know paragraphing? Do they know, are they writing it as an essay, or they're writing it in one little short sentences? You'll know immediately. And then the fourth and fifth one would rhyme, and they are the reflection and collaboration. So if you have those 5 things in your answers, so you talk about what you know about kids, you talk about your knowledge of your subject, your strategies, and you talk about how did you know that? How did you assess? And then the last 2, your reflection and collaboration. Reflection is what do you, if you tried something, then did it work or not work? Then you try something else. You reflect, you change. It's like in a story, that would be like more of the problem of the story. You reflect on it and then you solve it. It's kind of like yeah, you have to include that in your answers, because that's why it's important for you to say an example. For example, I remembered my son, my former student, John, and John did this, relating to the question. And then that way you'll share the problem of John, and you reflected on what the problem was, and you assess there. And then who did you collaborate? Did you collaborate with the parents? Or if John was a special ed, did you collaborate with the special ed teacher or the former teacher, possibly? So your collaboration pieces are there. And then, of course, your knowledge of students is going to be shown through your answers. And then, of course, the strategies you used. For example, John, I found out the beginning of the year, was a very visual kinesthetic child. He likes to see things. He likes visuals. He likes anything that he could see. So kinesthetic means he work with his hands, with his body. So I made sure, for example, that we always had projects, and we had, when we did project, I have them to do a modeling play, and they have to do, something about their topic. They have to do a sculpture of their topic, for example, because it's hands-on things that are something that they're experiencing. And 70% of our students, especially students in poverty, are actually VK, visual kinesthetic. So you need to be aware of that. The 2/3 of your kids are going to be both visual and kinesthetic. Your auditory learners will be about the other 30%. But the thing is, auditory learners are the ones that doodle in your classroom. They won't look at you, but they're just doodling. They're listening to you, but they don't have to see you because they're using their ears, you see. So they're doodling. So if you see doodlers in your classroom, those are your auditory learners. And they don't have to look at you. When I was starting to teach in the 1991 was my first year of teaching, I used to have this mistake of thinking that, kids have to look at me. No, kids do not have to look at you, because if they're talking to you, yes, they have to look at you. But when they're taking notes, or whatever you're just discussing, they are looking like they're doodling. They really are concentrating and focusing. And they actually, that's how they're learning. They don't have to look at you. So don't get them in trouble because they're doodling, they're listening. And then I usually test them by asking them if they know what I just said, and they usually know what that you said. But anyway, your doodlers are gonna be your listeners, and the auditory learners, they are the same kids that will get in trouble in your classroom. You know why? Because they have to hear themselves process the information. So that's why you have that 10-2 strategy. 10 minutes you teach your talk, and 2 minutes you have to give it back to the kids and discuss, have them to discuss with someone, the think, pair, share type thing, where they have to discuss what you just said, and they have to process it with someone, and then they say it to someone, they hear it. Once they hear it, then that would anchor the information in. That's how they remember it. So that's why it's important for teachers to not just be talking for 30 minutes. You have to do 10 chunks at a time, 10 minutes, then process. Another 10 minutes, then process. In fact, I had a timekeeper in my classroom because I cannot ever keep up with the time. So I have, set for 10 minutes. And then when that, he would put the time is up to me. And when I know, I need to anchor this. Then I ask questions and so on. And sometimes I'd make something funny, because, humor is always something that also sticks to their head, to their memory. So if you make it funny, make them laugh, or you shock them, something surprising, or something new, novelty is always good, but so you do something like that, and then it will stick to their memory. And you know how I know that? Because when I do my exit survey, at the three things that you learn, 2 things that you still want to know, and then 1 thing you still have a question on, my 3-2-1 survey, they always talk about the things where I stopped and I processed. Those are the things that actually they would write about. It happens with my students. It happens with my teachers when I do my professional development, when I do PD training across the state, across the world. I always do a stop. And when I do my 3-2-1 survey, those are the things that they put in. So I know that that's stuck to them, because why is it very common that, 90% of them would write about the things that I specified and emphasized during my 10-2 strategy. If you're teaching kindergarten, you need to do a 5-1, 5 minutes talk by you, and then 1 minute that they need to process. Okay, so I just taught you strategies. I just taught you 5 core propositions, why I did that. And you always need to tell the students the rationale of why you're teaching. That's what I'm telling you. This is important, because if you use these 5 core propositions when you answer, your answer will be so deep, because you will get to the things that that should be discussed about. Why did you say that? Why did you answer it this way? It's because of the kids. It's because of strategies. It's because what I know about kids, my assessment, and it's because I reflected that this is something kids need to know, and then I collaborated. Sometimes you might collaborate. For example, the question is about angry parents. You collaborate sometimes with a principal, because if you have a parent, like I had a parent before, she was always so mean to teachers. And I was a 4th grade teacher at that time. I've taught all the grades except 10th and 12th. At that time, I was a 4th grade teacher. That's my favorite grade. And the teachers from last year, we always meet with them to talk about the kids that we're getting. So a principal was so good. He always made sure that happened, that we talked to the 3rd grade teachers, because they're coming to 4th. And they said, oh, Merlina, you got so-and-so, you got Sarah, and the mother's going to come and get you. And I'm like, really? What do you mean? Well, this kid is like, it's a school with mostly, it's predominantly white community. So I was pretty much the only minority teacher. And so they said that, oh, this kid is half Black, and she's thinking that all of us are trying to get her. And I'm like, not this year. I said, well, I'm minority too. So when the mother, his white mother, right, was trying to already, oh, you get Sarah in trouble because you did this, and I'm like, I said, have you seen my color? Have you checked my skin? I am just like her. I'm brown like her, so why would I do that? And she just like dumbfounded, because obviously she's been doing this for years. K3, she's been doing it. And 4th grade, she can't pull it on me. And I said, no, she got in trouble because she did this, this, and this. And this is how she can fix it. And this is how you can help her do this. Because in the past, this mother has to have the principal collaboration with the principal. The teachers have to have the principal in the meeting, because this mother is so aggressive. And she was trying to be aggressive with me, and I stopped it by saying, hey, wait a minute. I'm in your side. I'm minority like you. I'm here for your child. This is our child. This is our child together. You are my partner in education. I always believe that the parents are always my partners in education. That's why every Friday I want you all to come and have lunch with us. I want you to see what we've done all week long. I show you a video of the things we did that week. And we had a cable company at that time, so we actually showed the videos of my weekly videos of my students, so that the grandparents and the other folks that did not get to attend on Friday luncheon, that they got to see it. So my kids were like the star of the community, because I have my own channel. My husband put me on channel 99. So channel 99 was my channel. And so they got to see that. But anyways, you will always get something like that. They think that, they think that you have something against their child. But if you have a good relationship with your children, then they're not going to do that, because you are going to be one of your children's, if not their child's favorite teacher. And so they're going to be saying positive things about you. But if you are mean to that child, like I had this child one year, for some reason, she just had this attitude problem. She's one of those that would just like, would roll her eyes on me, whatever. And I guess I did not know that subconsciously, I was always like kind of looking at her like with a mean eye, I guess. I did not know that I did that. But she was telling her mother that, oh, Miss McCullough don't like me. I said, why? Well, she gives me this eye. I'm like, so I look in the mirror, I said, how did what would I be looking like? So I would like, yeah, I could see that. I could see me looking at her like that because she always had this attitude issue. And so instead of me saying something, I would just like look at her like maybe meanly to her eye. So then because of that, it became aware of that I want to make sure that I had formed a better relationship with her. Like I want to know why does she have that attitude? Well, I found out that she was pretty much neglected at home. Like the mother had a favorite sister and she was pretty much neglected. So she wanted my attention. So once I gave her that attention, I kind of bonded with her and I really took that extra step to be closer to her. And at the end of the year, by the time we had our second parent teacher conference, the mother said, "Oh my gosh, she really loves you. You are her favorite. You're the favorite person in the world for her." And I'm like, oh, so those are reflections that you do. Those are things that you fix yourself because somebody told you. And during parent-teacher conference, I always take notes of what the parents say. And I try to always reflect, yeah, I bet the parent is right. I think I was wrong. I should not have given her the eye because I do that to my husband. But I should not do that to my students, when I'm mad. But anyway, it makes you a kinder teacher. I felt like when I first started teaching my first 3 years, I want to go back and ask forgiveness from them, that I was stricter. I was way strict because I was raised in the Philippines and teachers there are like the boss. They're like very authoritative learning style, teaching style. And I do not need to be that. In America, you need to be more of a servant leader style. It's a collaborative style. Like the kids have rights, the kids have input. You want them to. That's why I ended up doing class president, vice president, and so on, and they make decisions for me, for the class. I was like, okay, president, this is a problem in the class. How do we solve it? And they have to appoint like the U.S. form of leadership. They have to appoint a Supreme Court judge person, and that just like in the U.S., they're appointed for life, so they're appointed for the rest of the year, and so they have that judge sit in there and actually make a decision, and actually would talk to the other 3 people, whatever it was that we did, and they would actually talk loudly for us to hear their conversation, and then they make the decision. And so we have the three types of the branches of government in our classroom. And so anyway, yeah, emulating life, those are part of the strategies I used. And so in your classroom, you as a teacher, I think that's what it is. We learn and we evolve, and hopefully we got better. Instead of meaner, we got kinder. I felt like I got kinder. And another person I give credit to is my sister Mylet. She's a teacher also. She's younger than me. She's 7 years behind me in our teaching experience, but she came to the US 2 years after I did, and she said, "Can I follow your steps and be a teacher?" And I said, "That's fine. That's the greatest compliment." But anyway, she's way better teacher than me. She's kinder, and she's just really creative, and so on. I actually just kind of watched her and observed her, because we observe each other a lot. Like I would do a project a month, and then she would do a project a month, and we would actually have our kids watch each other's project, each other's audience. And I always watch her, how she does in her classroom, and she is very kind. Like she is just so kind. Like I have this thing that I have to be like this, kind of strict, like I have to be in control. She's just like, relax. And this is a family, and we love each other, and you respect each other. And I told her this, and I said, "I'm your biggest fan." And she would, of course, go back, "I'm your biggest fan." I'm her biggest fan. And I always would think, like, what would Mylet do? And I told her this. I said, what would she do in this type of situation? She was always so kind. She continues to be so kind to her students. When you see her classroom, it's like a home. She has like a little leather seat there with all her little, station there with all these comfortable seats, like bookstore seats, where they are over there reading and all this. And they have another nook there that looked like a dining room. She had like her home. Luckily for her, she has a really huge classroom. And so her place, when you go in, have this cozy feeling, like I belong here. This is my home. And so I've always tried to emulate that, even though she would help me set up my classroom. To me, it's just never the same as hers. Like, oh, I want to be like you, just like you, clone her. But the leadership style about being collaborative, about having your children have a say. Nobody died and made you boss kind of situation, like, I think in life that works too. Like if you're not going to be as in control, like you actually would let them have a say. And I think that's so hard for teachers, especially a Filipino teacher. It's an Asian teacher. I don't know about India, Rina, but as an Asian teacher, it's so hard because in our country, it's very authoritative. It's very
Right.
That's not going to work with American kids. I promise you that. I bet Rina could agree to that. Do you have kids, Rina? You have
No.
kids? You don't. Okay. Well, anyway, but they're not going to go with that. If you are very, very authoritative and they don't feel like they can say anything to you, you're not going to be successful in America, because our American kids are raised to have a say. Even my own kids,
Right.
Hey, sweetheart, what do you think about this? So I would always ask Stephanie and Jet. I said, you can say things to mom. You can, sometimes they would even try to correct my accent, but just be kind about it. Just be respectful about it. Sometimes it's better to be kind than to be right. Sometimes, that you disagree with this, but really they say it in a very kind way and you can correct it later, but in private, never insult them in front. But yeah. So those are the things that you would need to remember, that our Asian authoritative style of leadership or of teaching will not work here. You will just be hated. The kids will just be telling the principal that, oh, she's a mean teacher, and we're telling the other teachers, and they would know about that. And in their part of the Arkansas, like Mike and them are, they actually have cameras 24 hours, 8 hours a day, the whole time they have cameras. So in other cases, when I go there, I go weekly, the principal would actually show me some days that a teacher was teaching, and he would say things like, oh, look at this, I really like the lesson of so and so, you have to watch this, you were not here that day. And then he would show me, or he would show me things like, well, there was a problem this week about this, whatever you told me about that problem, I want you to see what you think that you agree with that, and I would see this recording of some of the teachers, our Filipino teachers' classrooms. And of course, this is something private that I would never share with them. This is something for me to know so that I know how to help them. But just know that in America, in a bunch of the classrooms will have cameras. We'll have cameras, especially in the level 5 schools. Level 5 means that they need intensive support. What does that mean? That means that teachers, there's progress report, like a report card for schools and districts. In the F school are the level 5 schools. They are F in elementary, F in high school, and they are needing intensive support. And a lot of times, if they're both F in both elementary and high school, level 5, they are being taken over by the state, by the Arkansas Department of Education, like Helena has been taken over, and I think they should be about out, hopefully. So they do a D on one and then F on another, and then they would kind of loosen it up, and then later on when they're both D, at least both D, then they will let them go. And like Earl, for example, this is one of the schools I'm talking to, they just got out this year. So it's a very happy time because they were taken over for 3 years, I think. And then they just got out. So the superintendent and I are good buddies. And so she told me, Merlina, I'm so excited. This is the first year that we actually have, I say, and we actually will have making our own decisions instead of having to go through the Department of Education, which makes it longer to make any decision because you have to always go through that extra step. So now she and her school board folks can actually make decisions together instead of having to go to a different entity, to a different organization that's over you. And nobody wants to be over, somebody to be over you. You want to be free. And that's what schools do too. They feel that way, that they have the freedom. Because a lot of times when you're being taken over, the superintendent is there, but it's really being helped a lot by the Department of Education. They have to always refer to the Department of Education. So I don't know about North Carolina, what you know about North Carolina. Rena, what do you do in North Carolina? Do you have a career there?
Yeah, I work at the dermatology office.
Okay. So you are in health things. So you're
Health.
learning a lot about education here today.
Yeah, I have no idea about teaching, but Elizabeth's mom, who is my sister, my brother, my mom, her dad, everybody are teachers back home in India. So.
Yeah, so Elizabeth, I'm sure I'm talking to the choir here. You already know the stuff I'm telling you, but maybe Thailand, do you feel like it's the same style as India? Or do you think that it's kind of like similar to the US where you have to have the children say the input of kids?
No, like the education system is like very different. Like in India, like yeah, it's like the teachers are the boss, but here in Thailand, like no, like
They're Americanized then. They're very much like America then. They're like,
yeah, like
yeah,
the students have to say, like, we have to like take we have to like you said, like, they have the rights, like we don't have to, like, because if we do that something to the students, the parents will complain, like, like the teachers have done
yeah.
this and that, like all these things. So we have to be careful, and then like we have to, you know take care
Okay.
of the students, like all
Oh,
these
so
things.
you're
Yeah.
ready. You are ready. If you already have experienced that, then you are ready to already come here and have not a very huge adjustment for you. Because what I notice is that those teachers that have come from another state like Qatar or Saudi Arabia or somewhere, they seem to have a better adjustment period than those that came straight from the Philippines, because it's almost like it's a culture shock for everyone, but some double culture shock for folks that came. Giselle came from the Philippines, and you come here, and it's going to be a double shock for you, just because you're so used to this. You are the boss, nobody else is a boss, that. And then if you go to another country like Thailand, where Elizabeth is, then you already have experienced what it would be like if in the US,
I
Canada.
have to adjust, and I
Yeah.
have to adapt, like,
Yep, you have to adapt. That's
Yeah.
right, and you have to work with parents. In the
Yeah,
Philippines, I don't
exactly.
remember
Yeah.
to have my mother, my father. I guess because I was a smart kid, that they didn't have to ever talk to my parents. But here you cannot do that. You have to always communicate with the parents. I have a daily communication notebook journal that they write to their parents every day about what they're learning from him, the last 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of the end of the day. We always had our communication journal. It's almost like a reflection of your day. I write one. When the kids are writing, I'm writing one. So I'm modeling to them that you are writing, I'm writing. And so about our day, and it's so good for me to go back and say, okay, what was that day? If a parent would say things like, oh, so-and-so had a bad day, I would look back, I'm like, okay, because in my journal, I would say things like, I'm bragging about kids that really successful that day, and things I'm worried about, this kid did this kid did that, and I need to talk to the parent. Those things like that are the ones that more of a reflection for me. And then go back to the students' notebook and see what they said about that day. And so you can really know about them, because you can see their thinking every single day. And you get closer to them just because you know what they're into. A lot of my boys were always about girls, so they would mention who their crushes are, and what they did in the playground, and or at home, they worried about home. Mom and dad were fighting and all this. And I know some, I said I encourage them to show it to their parents, because it's a three-way communication. It's a teacher, student, and a parent. Some of them, I can tell they might not want to show their parents this, and I told the parents, do not force them. I would never force them. If there's something that they don't want me to read and they fold it, I will never open it, because I have that trust thing. They need to trust me because I trust them. So if that's private, they don't want me to open it, I don't open it. We'll just stamp it in the back of it, but I don't open it if it's folded, because it's something that they just want to reflect, and they don't want anybody else to read it. And I told the parents to do the same. If a child wants you just share with you something but did not want you to read it, then do respect it, because I do the same in the classroom. And so things like that, those are showing of respect. That is actually increasing your positive classroom environment, because the culture of your classroom needs to be positive. That means they know that they're being respected, and you showing them that you respect them. And then as a result, they will also respect each other, because you're modeling it. You're modeling it that this is like a family. And as a family, we respect each other. We don't gossip about our classmates outside, and I have that morning meeting every day for 10 minutes while I'm doing my lunch count and my other housekeeping things. The president will have a morning meeting, have this big carpet, and they would make a circle around that, and sitting like Indian style sitting, and they would be a circle, and there's a talking stick. And the talking stick is being passed around, and whoever wants to talk. And so the president would actually talk about, start talking about whatever he wants to talk about. And then he already talked to me about it first. But anyway, so I was aware of their topic. But then we always had somebody that would share about their own news, about family, personal news. And then the next one will share about their national news, about the country. within Arkansas, within the state, I mean, within Arkansas, and then another one within the United States, which means that my students had to actually watch the news and listen to the radio and all this about local news. And of course, sharing about their lives. A rule is, kind of Vegas rule. I don't say that. I said Miss McCullough's rule, that whatever is said here needs to stay here. You do not need to share that with other kids in the playground. It needs to be like, be in the family, be in the McCullough classroom family, because that's a sign of respect for us. This is about us. If there's a problem, we need to solve it. And then we always have a secretary, right? The secretary would always make this giant card, this giant birthday card, and we sign it if somebody's having a birthday. Sometimes they would say, oh, my grandma is turning 80 this weekend, whatever. And then the secretary would do a giant card. Everybody signs it about the 80. So then the child would give it to the grandma, 80th birthday, or their mother or whatever. So we would do a giant card. And but it's always signed by everybody. And so that is a job of the secretary. And anyway, so it's like run like a family. And so if you do an interview and you would share things that you do in your classroom, and I don't want to be bragging, but when I did interview, I always was offered a job because they see that I'm passionate about kids and I'm passionate about teaching, that I want to learn from my students, and that I don't have all the knowledge. If I don't know it, I'm gonna be brave enough and humble enough to tell my student, oh, you know what? I don't know that. What do you think? What resources do you think we can use in order for us to know this? Because I don't know it all. I don't have all the information in this world, but we have resources that we can find. What do you think we can, you use and all this? So they come up with something together. They were like, we can interview somebody, or we can do this. We can, this time you can say Google now. Back then it wasn't. But anyway, you can do the dictionary. You can do the, the thesaurus or whatever it was that we have an issue on, or another word that we need or whatever. So anyway, so in a classroom, if you do that and you interview like that, and you just show them your heart, I guess, you show them that you are really, you want this, you're hungry for this, and you wanted to, you just visit with them. And that's why I said, when you interview, it's not formal. It's like this, visiting with you. If you just do that and just be yourself. And who was that, Jacob? Don't do this, right? I'm joking with you, Jacob. I don't want to insult you, but anyway, so yeah, you're open body language. That's really important. Of course, dress up. I'm wearing shorts down here, but but anyway, dress up, because I always say, like you would when you were going to church, that would be what I would wear. And for women, try to put some lipstick on, makeup on, whatever. I know it's night, usually it's night where you are, but just look like you did the effort, that it is something that you want, instead of like still in your pajamas. You might say when your pajamas, you might want to put another top. But anyway, yeah. So any questions, any other questions? I'm telling you, I just go all over the place. But it's always about kids. It's always about teaching. It's always about what we do. So anyway, okay, let me talk to some other ones. Jacob, did you learn something?
Sir Jacob, Doc, is not here anymore. Yeah. Sir Jacob. Mm-hmm.
Hello, Doc. Sorry.
Yeah, Giselle, what did you say, Giselle?
First, Doc, I love it. Your talk today is very timely, because on Tuesday we'll start our class in the Philippines. That will be on the 29th. That will be the opening of the classes.
Okay.
So it's very timely. It's a refreshment, Doc.
Oh, good.
And also, I want also to introduce my friend is here. She is a Frocklin Raga, Doc, one of my co-DRRmer. I had a new designation in the school, Doc, because one of my colleague has transferred to another school, so I have to have his position. It's about DRRM. I don't know if you have heard about that.
No.
It's about disaster risk management system here in the Philippines. We have that in the schools.
I didn't know you have that.
So,
we have an SRO here, school resource officer, a policeman in every school, SRO. Yeah, so it may be similar to that, huh? But not quite as
yes,
yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool.
So she said she likes to be with us,
okay,
and she's interested in going in the USA.
Sounds good.
She is Ma'am Frocklin Raga. Sorry. Hi, Ma'am. Pwede na kami tabi, Ma'am.
Yeah, talk to us. Yeah, you can see me just rattling. Talking about things, but anyhow, yeah, that's what we do here. We really don't have a topic in mind.
I love listening to you, Dr. Merlina.
Well, thank you. You can see that I'm like, oh yeah, I love this because I miss the classroom, you guys. It makes me so happy when I'm watching them in the classroom, because I guess that's your classroom fix whenever you're retired already. I've been retired since 2016, so that's 7 years of not having my own classroom. So yeah, go ahead and talk to us.
Good day, Doc. Good
Yes.
day. I'm Franklin Rega.
Nice name. Wow.
I'm yes, Doc. I'm a presently teaching grade 7 Ella teacher. I think it's Ella there.
Yeah,
And in
ELA.
English, yes. I had also the same auxiliary, DRM, disaster risk management coordinator. And I'm also interested to teach in the US. I heard a while ago you said um, a double culture shock. So I think that felt me a little bit nervous, but hopefully I can get some good advice from you.
Thank you.
And also what interested me to teach in the US is that I know for sure that they are really in advance, and so it's a challenge for me because here in the Philippines we are maybe 5 times behind from the academic. So
you'll be
and
surprised that you're
also,
not that behind. I promise you, you're not that behind. From basing on my conversations with teachers that just arrived here, you're right there with us, guys. You're right there with us. You might not have the technology that we have in every classroom, but you have to remember the technology is just depending on who the user is. So if the user does not know much about how to use it, it's just going to sit there. Okay, so we may be advanced with the technology that's available here because of the money, but strategies wise, you are just as good. I promise you. You know, Abby and Leslie, I've watched them in their classroom and they are awesome. And they're just like, I can put them right there on top of the best teachers I have ever seen in America. That's how advanced the Philippines is on the strategy. So don't ever put yourself down. It's nice to be humble, but no, you're not 5 times less. No. I promise you.
Thank you.
I may be biased, but it's but really, I'm telling you, strategies that you're using will work here. You know, what I'm finding out when I'm having conversation with teachers is that they think that they're just going to leave what they know about the Philippines on the strategies there in the Philippines. No, bring it here.
Exactly.
Okay, bring it here. Whatever things that you like to do and that students enjoyed, the Philippine students enjoyed, the American students will also enjoy. Okay, if you do gallery walk where you have all the work there and then you have the kids, you ring a bell and you have a group of kids look at different work, different parts of the room, that would work here too. You know, that would work here too. You know, if you have the kids, you do Simon Says. I do a lot of Simon Says in order for them to have a brain gym, you know, a brain gym where they have their brain had to wake up because it's like after, for example, after lunch and their brain's sleepy. So I would have them, okay, if you agree with me, Simon says this, you know, put your right arm, or you know, they have to cross their body, you see, their right arm on your left ear. They have to follow directions like this, and they have to cross your hand over. And then if I don't say Simon Says, you don't do anything. So it's also a listening skill thing. So things like that, some neat things that you can do so that you can get up from the room and then you can do some action. If you agree with this, I want you to hop like a rabbit. It works with elementary, not in high school. But Ms. McCullough, do not treat us like elementary kids. But anyways, yeah, so things like that, strategy-wise, would work. Kids are kids, guys. Kids are kids. They might just be in America, but they are kids just like us, you know, just like, you know, I think of when I taught elementary and then I taught at high school, I thought about, well, they're just like elementary kids in bigger pants, you know. But some of the strategies that we use, like some of the claps that we use, which I encourage you to use those. Some of them work really better in elementary and some better in high school. When I do wow, like W-O-W, wow, give them a wow. High school kids think that's really childish. Elementary kids, they like that. Wow, like this, you know. I would say A-W-E, S-O-M-E, awesome, awesome, awesome. High school liked it, okay. So I would notice those things that you have to differentiate between elementary and high school, but then the basic strategies that you do, active strategies that you do will work. Okay, so will work. You taught high school there, and the problem is we have teachers like Abby and Leslie that were teaching elementary there, but because they're special ed, and special ed here is K-12 in America, and so they were put in high school, and so the poor girls have to actually plan fresh lessons, fresh strategies, because they are high school. And I saw them I saw Leslie in the classroom, and she was comfortable. I mean, she just used the I told her, just be yourself. If there's something I can, do to help you, let me know. And since I was watching in the classroom, I would tell her, these are things that you're strong on. You need to work on this, this, and this. Oh my gosh, she did so well that she made a list of bulleted things that she needs to improve on. By the time I came back, she had it all fixed. I struggled to look at what I can say to improve, because she had all the glows and I don't have the grows to tell her, because she already did it. She incorporated the things that I said, things like, you need to always ask about your kids. You need to know about, I mean, she's a natural on that, by the way. She would just care about them. She knew about this particular kid that had a bunch of chickens and a bunch of, pets and all this, how many chickens, how many ducks, how many whatever, I was like, you knew that much? She knew about these kids' lives. And once that you know that, and you know what are their strengths and weaknesses, you got half of the battle won, right? Okay. And so anyway, things like, doing the validation part of the kids, whenever somebody answered really good, let's give them a, round of applause. Let's give a, this apple chant or whatever it is that you do. And that's really good. I mean, at first they're going to think that is really new because the local teachers might not be doing it. But you know what? They really like it, because every person likes to be validated. Children and adults want to be validated. And I think I've shared this story before, where I had a teacher, a colleague, and she heard me next door. She said, Merlina, you're teaching your kids validation. And I said, yeah, I always teach them validation, that they need to validate each other, not just their classmates, but also at home. And she said, I can't believe you're teaching them that. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, my husband and I are going through counseling, and our counselor is teaching us validation. So I just laugh a lot, but because validation is important, not just with kids, but also with adults, right? Anyway, you have a question for me, Rocklyn?
I'd like to continue also, Doc, what I do, what I am doing at school. I have aside from on DRM, I also coach volleyball.
Oh, nice.
Yes, volleyball in women, and I also do some vocal voicing.
Okay.
Voice,
those
yes.
Things you need to include you need to put those in your cover letter. You need to mention those. Yeah. And you said that, tell them that you're willing to, willing to coach, or you're willing to assist or whatever, because that would help them pick you passively, because, they're always needing somebody like that, especially volleyball.
And yes, Doc. And presently, I'm hope to graduate also at SPED in my special education. And I'm not sure if somebody or some school will accept me if I do only have a diploma in special education, or shall I continue and have my master's degree?
If you have a diploma on it, that's good enough. Yeah. If you have your certification on it, you're good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. They like Mike, for example, he hasn't even received his master's on it yet, and he is already being hired as it, because they're given 2 years for them to complete it. So yeah, you're fine. The more that you put in there that you can do, the better, because especially special ed, we have a shortage of them. The shortage of special ed teachers here. We have a lot of elementary teachers, but we do not have very many science, math, special ed. ELA at one time we have a shortage on, but I think ELA now has a high school shortage of ELA. So you said ELA, are you high school, elementary?
I'm in high school though.
Okay, then you have two shortage areas. So you need to make sure that you put those in your cover letter. And any of you, when you have a cover letter and you want me to look at it, I just corrected one this week, and I really enjoy doing it because I'm like, oh, things that I call it Americanize it. Because when you read the cover letter written, because this is what I wrote when I first got here, and my husband Americanized it. So now I'm helping you guys make it sound like an American would be writing it. And so
I'd like to have one also, though. Okay.
Yeah, so I cannot write one for
you,
you, but you have to write your own, and then I will suggest, you might want to say it this way, but I have to have the skeleton of what you put in, because then I can fix something, because I can create one for you. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, okay. Well, good luck. Why do you want to come to the US again?
I still have to apply some schools, Doc.
Yeah, but why do you want to come? Why do you want to teach in the US instead of the Philippines? So why do you want to come?
That's one of the reason, Doc, is that I am really challenged with the way how Americans teach, or the academic learnings that they have. So hopefully I can apply it here in the Philippines soon.
Okay, well, don't say you're being challenged. I would say things like, I'm curious about the similarities and differences between the cultures, or between how we teach. I'm very curious, and I would love to see it in person. You could say something like that instead of being challenged, because then make it sound like you don't know it. You're struggling with it, and they're not going to hire somebody that's struggling with it, because they're going to be hiring somebody that's very curious about it, because they want to teach you about it. But then you already have, you can say things like, although I already have so many years of experience. How many years of experience do you have? How many?
Almost 9 years.
Okay, you can say that. Oh, also I already have this many years of experience. I'm curious about the differences between how American teachers teach and how Filipinos teach, and how the American children learn, and how the Filipinos children learn. So I'm curious about that. And since I am a lifelong learner, you can have a recording of this, by the way, Proclaim, so you don't have to write much. I'm going to send you the recording. If I have your email, so make sure you email me, okay? McCulloughMerlina@gmail.com. If you scroll back on the tab, it's there. But anyway, so yeah, you can say that you're curious. You can say that you want to learn, because you are a lifelong learner, and because you have a positive, you have a growth mindset. And as a growth mindset, you want to improve, continue to improve. You're open to growth. You're not fixed mindset. So if you say those words like growth mindset, those are really good words to use. Use the word collaboration. You have collaborating with others. You want to learn from others, your colleagues. And by the way, you say colleagues here instead of colleagues, okay? Colleagues, you want to learn from your colleagues, and or you can say peers. I want to learn from my peers and all that. And hopefully I also have something that they learn from me. Yeah. So I would add your word hopefully. So make it sound like humble, but because we are, right? Anyway, okay. You have any question for me? Question for me? No. Okay.
Thank you.
And you can call me Miss Merlina. You don't have to call dog. People would say dog. I think of, Cebuano dog. But anyway, like hammer. But anyway, so Miss Merlina is fine. But yeah. And I always joke with them. I said, you know what? If you call me Miss Merlina already, that means you're close to me already. But if you're still calling me dog, then you're far away from me.
Yes, I think also that is one thing I also observe. They don't want to be called doctor. Yes, they want to be called their first name.
Yeah, it's very informal in America, and as Arena, I'm sure already knows, very informal. But you still do find someone, especially some of those that just graduated, just got their doctorate degree. They really feel like, oh, I earned this, I have to be called this and whatever. But in my degree, where I got it from Arkansas State University, our teachers, our professors actually went to Harvard to learn some leadership academy stuff there, and they brought it back to us, and they came back and saying that we really need to have a servant leadership style like Jesus, and that it's not Dr. Jesus, so it's not going to be Dr. So-and-so. You cannot put it on your checkbook. I said, can I put it on my, like when I die, can you put it? They were laughing at me, and I'm like, no, I don't really want my husband to put it in there, but I'm just joking. But yeah, some of them would say, oh, why are you getting your doctorate degree this late in life? And yeah, I just want it on my tombstone. But in our program, we're not even encouraged to do that, you know, because, but an exception is when I'm speaking at 800 with 800 people, 1,000 people, I'm going to be Dr. Merlina McCullough. Just because credibility is at stake. They want to know, do you really know something? Here's your brown, short person here. What do you know? Well, just by hearing the word doctor, they already give you that little extra credit. And then by the NBCT, National Board Certified Teacher, at the end of my name, that's already another credit, another little hack, you know, a little feather in your hat, that maybe she does know something. She's got her doctorate, plus she has her national board. Those are two things that are not easy to get. They don't just give it to you. You know, and so anyway, so I guess there are times when you can really use that, you know, in a very formal manner. I have talked to several people. I have been in the stage so many times, and I do use Dr. McCullough in there. Yeah, but in other places, no, I'm just Merlina. Yeah.
Noted, Miss.
I would say in my workshops, I would say, oh, I'm Merlina the Filipina. That always makes them laugh because it rhymes. But anyway, I used to say Filipina hillbilly, but they said Merlina hillbilly. And I'm like, well, my husband always thinks that the hillbilly is a compliment. He said, no, Merlina, I'm a hillbilly is like barefoot and no, you know, missing teeth and everything. And I'm like, oh, okay. Then let me just call myself a Filipina Southern Belle. How's that? I said, oh, that's better. Filipina hillbilly will not work. That's what they said. Although it makes them laughing. We get the laugh. Anyhow. Okay, so who else have I not talked to? I know Mike, I have not talked to, I have talked to one, but how many more do you want me to talk to? Because I know we have time because I was late today. I set my alarm, guys, and it was on silent. So of course it did not wake me up. I had it when I was doing something yesterday and I forgot to put it on and set my alarm, but it did not wake me up. Anyway, so who else, Mike?
Who else want to talk? I want to try Miss Mom Ethel Liesa.
Okay. Ethel, is this your first time?
Yes, Doc. She's one of my youngest daughters, Ninang.
Oh, okay. The godmother. Okay. Godmother, go ahead and talk to us if you want, if you don't mind. I'm Merlina. Is she on?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Are you on, Nina?
Yes, I'm on.
Okay. Who else was on? Well, who's it, Mike, that you said? Ethel? You said Ethel, Mike? Did I lose everyone but Rena? Okay, I'll have Elizabeth.
Still here, Miss.
Okay, go ahead and talk to us. Yeah. Okay, you're still here. Good, Brooklyn. Who else? Well, who was it, Mike, that you called and did not show up, though? Is that the one that says Zoom user?
I think she has a problem with her signal.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Ma'am Ethel. Ma'am Ethel.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. You have your camera on?
Hello.
I always want to encourage everyone to have their camera on, especially if I've never met you, because I would love to see your face, your beautiful faces. Yeah, because it's always nice to, when I get an email from you, it would be nice to see your picture in my head. Like Giselle is always there, so that's good. Giselle, always getting my perfect attendance record here. Okay, where is it? Where's Ethel? Is she still having problems, Mike? So while waiting for her, do you want to call somebody else? Or if somebody can raise their hand, we would be...
Yes, Doc. I think I saw Ma'am Miraflor.
Okay. Okay, Faye Miraflor.
Yeah, Miraflor.
It looks familiar to me. Faye, have I talked to you?
Hi, Doc.
Yeah, have I talked to you before?
Yes, Doc.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I remembered your name thinking it's cute.
Thank you so much.
You have your camera on? Do you want your camera on?
I'm so sorry, Doc. I'm so sorry, Doc. The signal in our place is not that good.
Oh, it's okay.
So
you're fine.
I think.
Yeah.
Hi, Doc.
I remember you now.
Good morning.
Yes, I do remember you. Yeah. You're still in the Philippines then?
So
You're still in the
last
Philippines?
time, Doc.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yes, Doc,
remind me about you. Remind me about what you do. What do you teach and what grade?
Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
I am teaching now grade 8 science for the incoming school year 8, and gladly I am given English, which is not my major, but because of lack of teachers in our school, we are given with subjects that are not our majors.
Okay. So where do you teach at? What area in the Philippines?
I am teaching in Region 10, Doc. And then I have one colleague that is already in Arkansas, Doc.
Who?
She is very excited of meeting you.
Who is it?
Ma'am Harvey Zate.
Oh yeah, Harvey. Yeah. Yeah, I remembered her attending this. I'm so glad. When is she arriving here?
Last month, Doc. She told me that she's so excited in meeting you, but unfortunately, she has no schedule yet.
Well, I'm going to go visit her then. I'm going to contact her and I'm going to visit her this coming week. I have actually contacted their school because I would like to be in their school. And I just heard back from one of the assistant principals who said she's going to send my proposal to the superintendent. So if it gets approved, I may get to see her every week or every other week. So we'll see. But even though I won't be hired by her school, I still want to see her. So I might take her out to eat or something. I'll pick her up because it's only like, what, 20, 30 minutes from Helena? I'm going to be at my hotel will be right there. See, what I've done is I would invite some of the teachers to come and stay with me at the hotel. And then the next day I would take them to their school. And so I've done that with Betsy. Betsy, poor thing, is in Clarendon and she's new and she doesn't know very many people yet. And so I would invite, because I'm going to her school the next day. So I would invite her, pick her up in the afternoon. We go out to eat, do something at the hotel. And then the next day I take her to her classroom where I will be observing her. So that's kind of fun. So I might do that with Harvey, maybe. So
okay, Doc. I want to say sorry for my appearance today, Doc. I have received earlier the email that you have your Zoom meeting, and we are from the from my mother's house. We just got home and I forgot to put on my lipstick. I'm so sorry, Doc.
You're not on interview, you're fine. you take my word to heart. I thank you, but no, you're not being interviewed. I just tell you, when you're being interviewed, you really need to, make some time to do your appearance. Yeah, but thank you for even being aware of that. Yeah, somebody must have told you.
I have been applying several schools, Doc, and most of the time I get disappointed. I'll be honest, Doc. I am very disappointed because I'm discouraged.
Okay.
Because most of the emails that I have received, unfortunately, and some of the first words are the position has been filled and we cannot proceed to your next step of application.
Well,
so,
this is what you need to do. Yeah, don't be discouraged though, because being discouraged means you already lost. You can't do that. You cannot have that attitude. Okay, you have to always be positive. That means you have a growth mindset. That means that it's not going to be like that all the time. It's going to happen. So if you have that positive mindset, then you make it happen. I read this book called Secret, and the gist of this book is that whatever you want in the universe, you just say it out loud. And I do this a lot in my car. You just say it out loud, and when the universe hears it, the universe is supposed to line up everything in order to make it happen. But you have to verbalize it. You actually have to say it out there to the and give it to the universe. So you need to be saying that somewhere, you alone in the mountains or wherever you are, and they say, I want to be a teacher in America, and so you are gonna make it like, what do you call that? Make it happen. You're going to make it happen for yourself, because the universe is going to help you. But you have to verbalize these things. Okay. And I'm telling you, I've done this so many times in my life, and it happens. And because I believe it, I guess. I believe that this is going to happen to me, and it happens to me because I have things in my life that I thought was impossible, and it happened. So one of the things is having my doctorate degree in the US. I thought, that's not going to happen to me because, this is so hard, whatever. I was managing my husband's businesses and I had, I was teaching at the same time. I have little kids, but God gave me my mom who helped me watch the kids, and then just give me that energy and a positive outlook in life that's saying that, what, if so-and-so can do it, you see some other teachers in your class, in your school, or people that were able to do it. If they're able to do it, why can't I? What's so special about them that I cannot? So with hard work, I think I can do it. Yes, I can do it. And I just do that. I would just verbalize it. So I want you to do that. And at the same time, you cannot just wish for it. You have to do action. And action means that you're going to do 8 to 10 applications a day. You're going to use www.schoolspring.com and send me your cover letter. I want to see your cover letter. I want to see if I can correct it for you. It might be a cover letter issue. Sometimes they look at your cover letter and they think, oh no, the English here or the way you said things are not something that we would like to hear from a teacher or whatever. So you want to Americanize it. I will do that for you. I will help you do that. So if you don't mind,
so much, Doc.
Send it to McCullough@gmail.com. It's MCCULLOUGH, Merlina, MERLINA, @gmail.com. If you send it to me, I will be glad to edit it for you and make it shorter or make it more concise and clear. Something that American teachers might write about. Writing is my specialty. I actually do training for teachers on how to teach writing. So I don't feel like I'm that strong of a writer, but for some reason, I just know how when it's something that doesn't look good, I know how to fix it. But I think
because
so
much, Doc.
30 plus years in it. So
I have already sent you email, Doc, with regards to I have asked your permission if I can add your name as my reference person.
Yes.
So you already you already answer it with a big yes, Doc. So I will send my cover letter, Doc, for checking, because I think, Doc, I have right there good things, and I think, Doc, it was checked by my colleague who is in Arizona, and she said it's good, but I don't know, Doc, what's the problem with my cover letter.
Okay, what does your friend in Arizona do? Is she an English teacher in Arizona?
Yes, Doc, she is an English teacher, and one of my colleagues also, Doc, is in Arizona also, Doc. 3 of my colleagues from my school is already in the USA, Doc, and we are good friends, so I am one of those left here.
Oh, it's okay. You'll be
wishing that I can step in the US.
Yeah, well, you can be here, but you have to fix your mind about being positive. You cannot close it and saying, well, you know what, I'm just like, I don't think it's going to happen to me, because the universe is going to make it happen, not happen to you. Okay? So don't think that way on anything in life. You have to be positive. If you really want it this bad, you need to make it, in your mind that it's really going to happen. Okay? It's 100% is going to happen. Okay? It might not be the time that you want. You have to remember that we are not in charge. God is. He has plans for you. And if we make plans, he laughs, because he really is in control. He really is in the driver's seat, okay, of our life. Yeah. So that's why
I have also one application, Doc, that I have told you during my first Zoom meeting with you, Doc, that I was interviewed by one of the superintendents in New Mexico. So 2 weeks after, Doc, he sent me an email that I might be fitted to grader position. So he sent me a letter and what do you call this? Say I can fill in some information so that he can schedule me with an interview with the principal of the heading there, Doc, is Cobre School District. So I have answered also the needed data. Unfortunately, Doc, he doesn't send me an email, and one of the teachers that was also in the list happens to be in the Zoom meeting where I attended also with you, Doc. So I personally messaged her if she was hired in the school, in that school. So she told me that there are 5 teachers that are New Mexico licensed already. So is that a privilege also, Doc, that the teachers can be hired because of that, Doc?
Yes, yes, yes. If I were administrator from New Mexico and I'm looking at people with New Mexico license versus non-licensed, I would pick the one with licenses. So New Mexico is one of the easiest state, and Illinois that I know today. Those 2 states, you can actually get it online. You go to their website, you follow the instruction. There's always a link to it, and then you have a requirement list. You do those, and then you send it to them, and you pay the money, and then they will send you your license, and that will give you a little edge. You're right, it will give you an edge, because what administrators, especially new administrators, new superintendents, would think is that they're afraid that you might not get licensed, especially that you are an international teacher, you are from another country, that you may not get licensed and they are in trouble. So you need to make sure that, that's one way of ensuring to them that, yes, I can get a license here. Look, I have this license from another state. So that would,
so Doc, even if we are currently teaching in the Philippines, we can still apply for that, Doc?
Yes, those 2. But in Arkansas, you cannot. You have to be here to apply for an Arkansas license. They're very strict about that. In fact, they are frowning upon teachers that are international teachers that are getting those licenses and then trying to get reciprocity, because they feel, at least the people in charge there, I used to work for the Department of Education, so I know those folks, and they said that well, it's kind of like cheating, because they're not really teaching here, but why are they getting this? And I'm like, well, they're giving it to them. If they're giving it to them, is they obviously, met the regulations and the rules. So that's why they got it. So I pretty much had to defend the teachers, because they really frowned upon that, at least at the Department of Education in Arkansas. They frown upon having a license from another state when you have not taught there. But the other states did not get that memo, so I'm glad. But yeah, those 2, New Mexico and Illinois licenses would be okay to get, and that would, to me, that would give you an edge. Other than Arkansas, it should give you an edge. And in your cover letter, you need to mention that I have New Mexico license, ready for reciprocity. You can say that in your that would also get the attention that you may be from the Philippines, but you have this US license. So that would give you an edge. Yes. Okay. Good question though. Okay.
Okay, Doc. With regards to the FCE thing, Doc, is it also
foreign credential evaluation? Yes.
Yes, Doc.
Because they wanted to know if how your courses from the Philippines is going to be equivalent to the US, because what they do is, so if you have that, it should also help you. Yes.
How about, Doc, if I cannot provide that within this month or the following month, Doc?
Don't worry.
How about my application, Doc? Is it not considerable also?
No, what they're wanting to do, as from my experience, is what we do is you have your cover letter and your resume, and if possible, if you have three letters of references, that would help kind of talk about you from somebody else. But those 2 things, that the resume and the cover letter, are actually the first 2 that you need to send. And then if they're really interested in you, they would ask for the other things. But those 2 will actually already get you in the pool of applicants to be interviewed. But to me, the letter of recommendation would actually give you a little edge over the others who did not send it, because then they will kind of hear about you from somebody else other than you, especially the one from a supervisor or from a colleague, to know what kind of person you are. But really, those first 2 are all that you need first. Okay, so you have your cover letter, get it done, and resume. Make sure your resume has 3 people and references at the very end, where they have their phone number and their email, because the email is going to be very important, because they're going to email those folks first. and they're going to ask, you know, whatever, if they really would recommend you. But also they will send those. In America, what they do is they have an app that would send a survey to the people in your list, the 3 people that you put on your resume. And then they would, like, if I'm one of them, I will get a survey coming from that school, and I have to rate you, you know, 1 to 10, what I think about you, how you teach, how you carry yourself, are you professional, are you in discipline, whatever. And so I when I have your paperwork, then I can look at those. But if I don't have them, then I will put, you know, I don't know. Or sometimes if I just don't know really much about the person, I would say, you know what, I cannot complete this survey just because I know this person as a mentor through Zoom, but I know from my conversation with this person that I would tell them about what I think of you, but I cannot be making up things when I've never observed you in your classroom. You know what I mean? But I have done
Yes,
that.
Doc.
Yeah. But based on my conversation with this person, I'm very impressed by how this, I could tell that this person is passionate about teaching. I could tell that, you know, whatever, she's really want to come to the US and teach. You know, I would say things like that. Sometimes it because I don't have very good memory, I have to go back. I have to go back to my email and see how, when you have sent me an email, and then what video am I going to be reviewing? Because I have to review videos sometimes in order for me to remember, okay, which person was this? What does this person look like? Especially if they only attended one time. You know, I'm like, okay, I don't really have much to say because this person only attended once and never came back. You know, so I do not have much to say. So the more that I have communicated with you, the more that I learn about you, and the more I could say about things about you. I can't make it up. You know, I have to say things from what I believe, from observations with you. Like, for example, Elizabeth, I've been watching your expression. You're not, you know, you're nodding, you're all this. Those are really good things. And you're listening and reacting and all that. Those are things that I'm observing, like I do in my classroom. I observe my students. I observe the people that are in, in Zoom, and I'm forming my impression in my head. Okay. So the more you attend, the more you learn. On top of that, plus the more I learn about you. And I think that's the important part, is that because I would never make up something I do not see and I don't have impression on. The people that are here were the folks that were always in attendance. Ask Mike. The people that are here were a lot of regulars, huh, Mike? Do you agree, Mike?
Yes, po, Doc. Yes, po, Doc.
Yes.
I started also as a silent reader, like that. I'm working before when I'm attending Doc Merlina's Zoom meeting, and then here I am now.
You better watch it. You're driving and Zooming.
Yeah, no problem, Doc.
I don't want you to wreck, Mike.
Multitask.
I don't want you to.
Yes,
I want you to wreck.
Yes, Doc. But anyways, just near to my house now, Doc.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have not been to Mike's house. He has not even sent me his address, so I guess he didn't want me to go to his house. You have to send me your address so I can come next week.
Yes, Doc. No problem, po. No problem.
Okay,
And
I'm
also,
not
Doc,
visiting homes.
Yeah, Doc, I just want to add about why we cannot issue here in Arkansas. We cannot issue teaching license because, correct me if I'm wrong also, Doc, but this is what I observed, that the endorsement for the teaching license should be came from the district.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have a district, then you don't have anybody that would do the paperwork for you. That's exactly, you're exactly right, Mike. That's actually the main reason why, because of how they do the paperwork. In Illinois and New Mexico, if you're able to get it, obviously it's not done the same way as Arkansas. That's why. Right?
And also you will undergo fingerprinting, like that. And background check.
Yeah, those still may need it, but they can do it like through your police station. They send you a form, and as long as it's being stamped by a local police station, they would take it. Yeah, but here in Arkansas, it's stricter. They're stricter here. So it depends. You have to remember that 50 states in the U.S., but each state has a power to make their own policies like that, their own requirements. So they're not being bossed around by the U.S. Department of Education. Each Department of Education per state has their own power. So it's the state right. So they have a state right. That's what they do.
Yes.
Mike, where are you going, Mike?
Yes, and also, Doc.
Didn't hear me.
I just dropped Mabel po and my kids. But I am here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, so yeah.
And also, Doc, I just want to encourage them not to lose their hope in applying. You know, in my I started here with a low self-esteem, right, Doc? Even I told you that I am a Filipino teacher in the Philippines and also in Qatar, and now here I am now.
And it did not take him long, right,
Thank
Mike?
you so much, Sir
It did not take him long to
Michael.
come. Yeah, to come. Yeah, Mike was here within what, less than 3 months, Mike? Is that right? I mean, from since you met me until you got hired by Helena, wasn't it like 2 months? Something like that. It was quick. I don't remember, but I know it was pretty quick, less than 6 months anyway. So then he was here. So yeah, if I'm pushy sometimes. If I really like a person like Giselle, I've been trying to really find you a job, Giselle. I've actually called superintendents myself to say, if you have a job, I have a perfect teacher for you, because this teacher has attended several of I have close to 50 Zooms, and you have attended maybe all of them or nearly all of them. And so of all the teachers that I have here, you would have learned so much of my job anyway. So
I still can remember.
Like, yeah.
I still can remember Ma'am Harvey Zati's statement when she was in the Philippines, Doc. During our lunch break, she told me that if she has not met you, she will not be in the US, Doc.
Oh, that's so sweet of her. No, it would have been, I was being used by God to be a tool to help her. And that's what I always feel like, you're being used to help others. And that's what I want him to use me for, because I don't charge you guys. I wanted you to come here, and I want you to improve your life, through teaching here. But when you come here, I'm not going to be able to like hold your hand and do that. You have to be on your own. And when you do your interview, you're also doing that by yourself. So God must have been also guiding her and guiding you all whenever you come here. So yeah, have that faith. To me, have that faith, and trust in him that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay. But that's nice.
I think,
Doc, credit.
I think, Doc, it's not only my cover letter has missing parts. I think, Doc, also my resume, because I have only prepared 1-page resume and the references are not in there, Doc.
Oh, well, you need to include those.
Also, Doc,
one
more thing also, Doc, can I ask you, with regards to the recommendation, Doc, can I still use the name of my previous principal, Doc?
I would. Actually, that's the person that make sure that you have a good relationship with that person, because if you have a bad relationship with that person, they're not gonna rate you high. They're gonna give you a bunch of 1s or 5s or whatever out of 10. You don't want that. You need to make sure whoever you use is a person that will give you a good recommendation. Okay?
Yes,
you have to have a good relationship with that person. Yeah. And also in your resume, you would have to make sure that you have of course, your contact info, your education, your experiences, and put the things that you have, like, if you have any professional development training that have really impacted you, things that have helped you become a better teacher, include a few of them, 4 or 5 of them, put in bullets. These are PDs that really, impacted me. And then don't make a list of 20 of them. No, do 3 or 4 or 5. And then things that you have done, like awards you have received. If you have been a teacher of the year,
Doc, I have
all those. Yeah, put it there. Do not put your age. You do not put if you're married. Don't put your weight. People have done that in the resume. I'm like, whoa, you have not attended my Zoom. So you do not put any personal things in there, because you don't want them to be biased against you because of the information you put in there. Those are illegal questions in the US anyway. They're not supposed to ask you those things. Okay, so stay professional with the information. Okay, things relating to school.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. And I think,
thank you so much, Doc.
Yeah, you're welcome. I can always tell when people have not attended my Zoom, because they would have those information in there. I'm like, what? You tell me your weight? Oh my gosh. So anyway, but that's
the usual practice in the Philippines, Doc. When applying for a job.
No, they don't do that here at all. It's not gonna be based on how we look. It's not gonna be based on our age or anything. It's gonna be based on what we know.
Not all. Not all, Doc.
Not all, but
some
here
of the
in the
establishments
US, it's
only.
against the rule, against the law. You cannot, those are discriminatory questions. So you cannot be asking those at all. They can ask you how many kids you have. They cannot ask you if you're married, none of those. They can ask you about professional things, where you were educated, how many years of experience, what are the things, the extracurricular things you've done, what are the sports that you might be willing to coach, things like that. Anything relating to school, they can ask you, but not anything personal.
Okay,
Okay, so don't offer those, because and that's why whenever somebody has more than 20 years of experience, don't say 22, don't say 24, say 20 plus years of experience, because if they put the exact one, that would actually give them the calculation. Okay, so you got done by 18, 19 plus 22, you're 41 years old, you know, so you can give them your age by doing it that way. So I would say more than 10 years of experience, more than 20 years of experience. I would say that.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say something like that. Like I have more than 30. So I would say, yeah, you know, more than 20 or more than 30. But anyhow, yeah. I'm a seasoned.
Thank you so much for that, Doc. It's a really big help for me, Doc. Thank you for always encouraging me, Doc.
Yeah,
I will
you can do it. Yeah, you can do it
again and again, Doc.
Yeah, I want you to get the in fact, I will send it again. When I send a copy of this recording, and by the way, Elizabeth, make sure I have your email so you'll be included in there. When I send you the copy of this recording, I will include those interview tips, the interview PowerPoint and the Josephine videos, all those basic things, so that you can click on it and you can see it. And that way, if you ever have an interview, then you're ready. Okay, I want you to study them, because some of the questions might not be asked the same way, but it's going to be the gist of it. You know, they might not, might say, for example, about how to deal with angry parents. They might say things like, well, what do you do if a parent is unhappy about something that, you know, happened in the classroom? Or what they would say it in a different context, but it's really that question. So you just have to be familiar with those, because it's going to be a variation of those that I put in. Something about classroom management. A bunch of the administrators here are worried about how would Filipino teachers handle classroom management. How can you handle kids? You know, so because they look different, they're not Filipinos. They are either, you know, white or black kids, or Hispanic, you know, Latino. So how would you handle that? So for folks like Elizabeth who is teaching in Thailand, you can answer that really quickly. You say, well, because I am from India and I have taught in Thailand for so many years, I have been exposed to diverse children. I have taught this race, you know, and I know I have been successful because the strategies I use work for all these students. And I know that it would work in the US as well, because good strategies are good strategies anywhere you are, right? And so, but the trick is, and the key is, that I get to know my students. Once I get to know my students, then I get to know what strategies will be effective with them. And once I know, I've assessed what are their skills, their skills that they already have, then I know what to build up on. You know, what are things that they already have, so I can just go from there. So which means you have to have the diagnoses. You have to have the diagnostics tests that you may have, some assessments that you have at the beginning of the year. In the US, there's a common test that they use is STAR Math, STAR Reading, and those gives you the grading level of the students in math and in ELA, in literacy. And then they have NWEA, which is your Northwest Educational Assessment. I don't remember the A, but anyway, but NWEA is another assessment that's being used here, and they will do it the beginning, the middle, and the end of the year. So the teachers will know where the kids are. What are their levels? How do you group kids? And so on. So whenever you have your interview, you have to have differentiation. You know, I will differentiate, you know, my lower kids and my average and my, you know, gifted kids. You call them GT here, gifted students. Gifted and talented. So GT, gifted and talented students, GT kids. So what do you call the gifted, talented kids in Thailand, Elizabeth? Do you call them GT?
So, yeah, we have gifted programs. Yeah.
Okay, but do you call them? Do you call them GT kids though? Do you call them gifted and talented kids? What do you call them?
We don't have the particularly name. Like we just have the program called gifted programs. Yeah.
Okay, but they have to have a some kind of exam, right, in order to qualify for that program? No.
Yeah, they have to take extra exams. Yeah.
Okay.
To get into that particular gifted programs. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's in high school here. We have an advanced placement. They call them AP. So
Yes.
AP classes, is that what you're talking about? AP classes? Because they have
advanced programs. Yeah.
Advanced
programs.
Yeah.
Yeah. EP programs and GP programs. Yeah. They are different kinds of programs. So to get through into that programs, they have to have their like special exams.
Yeah, so it's the same as here. It's the same as here. If you're being asked about that, it's the same as here. Another thing that you might be asked that you might not know is a 504 plan. It's a 504 plan. That is 504. That's a law here in the US in order to address the needs of special needs that they're not special ed, but they need like extra things that, you know, for example, if they're diabetic or they have other health issues, for example, and they need to have a plan for them, you know, like for Tourette syndrome, for example, and they have to have like maybe a special place to do their testing. You know, they have to have a plan for that. So they call that 504 plan. So they may ask you about special ed. They may ask you about 504 plan. So if you are not familiar with that, you can Google it, 504 plan, Arkansas. You can do that because in that way you'll know what they do. I know when I was an administrator, I was over the 504 program. So in that part of the job that they would ask me to sit on all the meetings when it included 504 special ed. I was the one that, as an administrator, that would sit there because you have ESL here, English as a second language. So you have ESL programs where you would actually, you would actually do sometimes they would pull them out, and really right now they kind of want you to be mainstream, so they would have the ESL person possibly come in for so many minutes. I was the ESL coordinator at that time. We had to like have have a special test for them to make sure what level they are in reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And it always took our students about between 5 to 7 years to get out of the program. That means they've mastered the academic language, because they're going to know their social language first. They're going to know how to use the bad words first and the social language of the street before they would even know the academic language. So once they know those, then you know they're gonna pass in the level 4 and 5s of that test. So those things are being asked of the teachers, and if you don't know those, you may want to make sure that you Google those. Yeah. So ESL, Google IEP, IEP, IDEA. That is a law here for special ed. So how do you spell people with disabilities? IDEA. And that's what Mike always jokes about. I didn't have any idea about IDEA. When he was interviewed for special ed, he didn't know about IDEA. But anyway, so as a special ed, you need to make sure you are familiar with IDEA. Yeah, Mike, remember that idea?
Yes po, Doc.
He got interviewed for IDEA and he didn't know about IDEA.
Correct, Doc. Because you sent me an email and suggestion because I'm on my way home. When I received the interview, and then you told me, Mike, you need to study this, check this link about the IDEA. And I think after I arrived at home, they opened already the Zoom meeting, and I didn't even check the link that you sent to me. And then I answered them that actually, honestly speaking, ma'am, though I'm taking my master's degree, and we already discussed that IDEA, I don't have any idea about the IDEA like that. But I told them that my understanding about that is it's all about how you're going to handle the students or the policies and the laws that supports the special education in the USA. That's what I told them. And then I just make some a decoration of my answers.
He tries to BS his way up and did not work.
And luckily, Doc, right? Luckily, I got the the job, not actually, I didn't receive the job offer, but they are, yeah, they're willing to hire me, right, as a special education teacher at that time. That's why I received two job offer. One is from Helena, Arkansas, and the other one is on the Marble, which is I will teach there as a special education teacher. Yeah,
And he
special
chose
education teacher.
he chose the right school because the Marvel later was about to close. So
Yes,
the
Doc.
right.
Yes, Doc.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, I think Mike, from my observation, I really think that it's about your personality. You have a very open personality. If you don't know it, you would say, I don't know, but I will find out. Those kind of open-mindedness, Mike. And I think because you just like visited with them, you have that interpersonal relationship, good skills about interpersonal, that helps you. Because you cannot be shy on those interviews, guys. You would just have to act like confident, like you have to fake it until you make it, kind of type thing, you know?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
You pretty much do
Mm-hmm.
that, but don't be a know-it-all. Nobody likes a know-it-all. You know, you have to be humble enough to say, I don't know it, but you know what? I attend Dr. McCullough's Zoom every other Saturday, and I know I could ask her, and I know I could email her anytime, and she answers immediately, and I know I can find out about it. You know, so things like
Yes,
that. You can find out resource that you can say, and you can always use me. I don't care, because I will
yes.
answer you if you need to email me. Okay.
And also, Doc, it is also helpful that you will answer them, or you will tell them, okay, I'm very willing to attend those training. I am very willing to learn it.
Yes.
I'm very
Yes.
willing to
Yes,
take
and you
the
do, yeah,
courses.
doing that shows that you are growth mindset and you're open and you are willing to go above and beyond. Yes, always do that. Said I am sure there's some PD or professional development. I'm sure there's some PDs for that that I could learn. You know, Arkansas Ideas. Arkansas Ideas is a platform. It's IDEA. You know, it's like idea with all capital. Arkansas Ideas is a platform for Arkansas only teachers, educators, and they have all the trainings that you could ever ask for that's required or whatever in any subject area, and it's free for Arkansas teachers. You have to have an Arkansas school email for that.
Yes, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm taking now, the 6 online courses, and you cannot take it unless the school district gave you an endorsement, or yes, that's correct, that once you have your own district or school email address, they will identify, oh, this is the school district recommendation.
Yeah,
I
because
recommend it.
you know I used to have it, and then when I retired, of course, I didn't have it anymore. So I called the ideas for people. I said, "Hey, can you put me back in it?" No, sorry, but it's only for people that have that are employed in school. So I was able to actually go in as a professor at Arkansas State University because I do have a school, but it's a college. But I was able to do that. But anyway, but not as a school district, because I'm a consultant for school districts, but I'm not employed with them full time. So although I go every week, but it's still not a full-time thing. But yeah, you can actually use that as an answer if you're being interviewed by an Arkansas administrator. Say, I know from a friend, or I know from Dr. McCullough that you have this platform called Arkansas Ideas that would offer PDs for me, that I could learn more, and they also have co-ops here. Cooperatives, they call them. We have 15 of them in the different United parts of the United States. They have co-ops, and in Arkansas, we have 15 of them. When I was working at the Department of Education, I was in the PD or Professional Development Unit. So we did training on all the 15 co-ops. So I know all the 15 co-ops. And what we do is we offer the PDs that the teachers need. So we actually developed the PDs in the state level, and then we gave it to the co-op level. So we taught the specialists in the co-op, and the specialist then would teach the teachers. So we were in that top layer, and so I'm familiar with how that works. So we did I did the ELA, and then my partners were doing math, and then the other ones were doing science. So we did all 3 units. We don't have very much social studies, I guess. We don't have social studies specialists, but we have the specialists for all 3: math, science, and literacy. So I was a literacy specialist. But anyway, so yeah, that's what we do. So if they're asking for PD, anything like that, you need to say you have your Arkansas Ideas platform, and you have your co-ops. The local co-ops would be able to help you. They have specialists at every co-op. They have all 3 in every co-op in Arkansas. So you always would have a resource. Who is your specialist in the co-op there near you, Mike, that you ask for help?
The Great Rivers, Doc, Miss Kelsey. Miss Kelsey. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can say if you're in that co-op near Mike, you can say, I know Miss Kelsey from the co-op. Mike, my friend Mike told me that, could help me. So anyway, so things like that you can
She knows me,
always
Doc. She knows me already.
yeah, then there you go. So
Yeah.
you can they are very supportive, by the way. They are very much wanting to support the international teachers because they want the international teachers to stay. This area in the state are the poorest part of the state. They cannot find enough teachers. So they are the ones that really need our help as international teachers. They need our help in order to staff their schools. Little Rock is the capital here. Little Rock is the most needy of all. Nobody wants to teach in Little Rock. There's a lot of really dangerous places there, some gang areas. And it's, in fact, if you look at the dangerous cities in the United States, Little Rock is in one of the top 10, along with New York City and Detroit and all these other places. And so people are afraid to go to Little Rock. They pay a lot more. Like as a teacher with national board and a doctorate, I'd make like close to $80,000. That's how big it is. And if I was an administrator there, I'll make like $150,000 a year. That's what would that be? That's 7.5 million pesos a year. And so that's a pretty good deal. But anyway, but it's dangerous. Some of the schools even have those metal detector like you have in the airport. They have them in their schools in order for them to make sure that nobody's bringing, guns and knives and all that. So that's how dangerous they are. But they have schools that are good too, and the schools, of course, that are good, they're pretty much well staffed because everybody wants to teach there. But anyway, that's because it's in the
Doc,
yeah, go ahead.
we're so lucky that J.F. Wall and Central High School have that already. We have a metal detector now, and you will be surprised when you visited here.
Are you serious? When did they put that?
Yes, we have. We have now the J.F. in Central High School.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they put that in there. So maybe they're putting that in a bunch of places now. It used to be Little Rock only. I didn't know of any other places. So now they're putting. I bet it's because of the recommendation of the ADE. I bet.
Yeah, I guess so. And then in the district office, you cannot enter without your swiping your ID.
Wow.
You need to tap it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So they know
You
who's
will
coming.
surprise them.
Wow. They really have added security, which is good. And I think Helena has always been more of the top in there because like you were one of the first ones to have cameras all over your classrooms, all over the school. You're the first one of the first ones. There was only used to be 2 in the state. And you were one of them that had cameras all over. In other schools, they don't have it because teachers don't want that. But then they didn't give them a choice, really. They just did it. So anyway, especially if you're a level 5 school, you really pretty much don't have a choice. Whatever the ADE says will happen. You pretty much, you take it.
And also we have the school, especially in Central High School, there is a centralized system, the announcement system, and also there's a button there that if the teachers or there's a problem inside the classroom, they need to press it, and then the security will come.
Wow, they have really added a lot, Mike. Yeah, maybe that would really help. That would really help because I remembered some of them were like afraid of the students. When you come here, guys, do not show that you're afraid of the students.
And also, Doc, some of the teachers are using that not as a threat to the student or not threatening the student. Okay, do you want me? I experienced that before, Doc. When I was in Central High School, I told my students, okay, do you want me to press this? No, sir, no, sir, no need for you to press that.
But it get old. Don't ever threaten your students. You have to say that when you're about to push, but not like because it will lose its effect. You cannot be like abusing, saying it. And they're like, yeah, well, he just says that, and then it never happens. So don't say it. Just like you don't say the word divorce unless you're really wanting to divorce. That's the same thing. do not try to tell them, no, I'm going to do this. Only when it's really, really bad. Like you really have to do it. I'm sorry, but but it's good to let them know though that is something that is an option for you. But it is a last option. You do not just use that as a daily threatening to the kids. Well, do you agree, Rena? It's going to lose its effect. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, we got into different topics. That's good. Okay, who else? I thought somebody said that they want to talk. So make sure that you, Giselle, help me watch. If somebody wants to talk, make sure that I call them, because they may be shy and would tell me. FM.
Yeah.
Okay, Doc.
Doc, I will try. Ma'am Mirna.
Okay.
Ma'am Mirna,
Mirna,
if
you
she
want to
can,
talk to me? Because
if she
we
can.
need to be we have 15 minutes.
Yes, Doc. Yes, Doc. Maybe next time, because it's already 10:46 here. Yeah, here in our place, it's already 10:46, and I think it's 11:46
11:46
in the
there.
Philippines.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I know
11
you're
for this
sleeping now.
here.
Yeah, you're like me. One time I was in a Zoom, and then good thing that I had my camera off and I have my mute off, because my husband said I was snoring. I was in the hospital watching him. He had this, heart attack or something at that time. He was already recovering, and I had to have a Zoom with some, I had a consulting work that time, and they have a Zoom, required Zoom, and good thing I had those off, because I was snoring right in the middle of. I'm hoping that I didn't get called in the middle of it, and here I was just snored. I didn't have much sleep that night, so I just know to apologize. Sent them an email telling them, guys, if you called me and I did not answer, it's because I fell asleep in the middle of it, because I didn't have a wink of sleep last night. They keep on coming here in the room and waking me up, and my husband got mad even. But anyway, so yeah, that could happen here. So I won't take it as an insult. Anyway, we're not boring. But hey, so that's we have 10 minutes. So we can have one more, and then we will say goodbye. Or if you have anything like a reflection, what did you hear? Like, Rena, do you have anything that you learned here that could help others?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm not a teacher, but I'm here for my niece, and at the same time, I think I learned a lot of things. Yeah. My brother back home in India is a teacher, and he has a daughter who is my other niece. So, and I want to go back to one of the conversation that you had mentioned, which really kind of, had a reflection to that incident. So last year, my husband and I, we tried to adopt her, bring her on an adoption, but apparently both me and my husband were too old for the documents.
I didn't know they have age limit on that.
They have, yeah.
What is the age limit, Rena?
Between me and my husband, we cannot be more than 96 years old. So we were over the age. So anyway, we wanted we wanted to help her. We wanted to give her a chance while we are still able, and we decided that we will bring her on a student visa. So she's here on a student visa. She's in a academy school, and she was having difficulty with her math. And even from India, she had a lot of difficulty. And like you said, back from where we come from, the teachers are always, the authoritative one. They never really listen. They never really communicate with the parents or anything like that. So anyway, she also came with that kind of a mindset where she cannot go and ask the teacher, like, how can I learn this? I don't understand this. Do you mind? Can you show it to me? Or things like that. She didn't have that guts, courage to go and do that. So the first semester when she came here, she was doing good in math. I mean, improving from India. So we were like, oh, she's getting better. And then second semester, she had a different math teacher. And she started getting really low scores. She started failing. So we were also trying to figure it out, what happened, what is going on. And then we found out that the teacher in one of his assessment about the student had mentioned that she was doodling in her class. So we didn't know, we are kind of like new parents and stuff. And so we didn't know. And my husband and me, we were both also trying to figure it out. And we asked my niece, her name is Kiki. She is 17 years old. So what happened? The teacher said that you've been doodling in the class. And she goes, well, she likes to draw. So she's drawing, and I just learned that from you right now when you said that the student is doodling, but it doesn't mean that the student is not paying attention to what the teacher is saying. So so my niece told me, like, well, that's how I like to draw, and that's how I'm listening to the teacher. But from as a parent point of view, I feel like maybe the teacher, like how you realize that as a teacher, maybe he could have gone and talked to my niece, because my niece Kiki is also a new student to this new environment here in America. She's also still learning to the American culture style of learning.
Right.
And then at the same time, I felt that, okay, I myself as a parent, I have no idea, I don't know, maybe the teacher could have connected with me as a parent. I'm just like, trying to.
Yeah, there's so many things that teacher could have done. Was it a new teacher?
Yeah, he was a new teacher. So yeah.
And I can't believe that a new teacher would not know about auditory learners needing to have to process the information with somebody else. If you have a teacher that's new that likes lecture, they just want to lecture, they don't even check if students are getting it. They have this mentality like, if I say it, then they're going to get it. No, that doesn't work that way. And also Khan Academy, KHAN Academy, that is the best resource for math. So if you have a topic, you type it in Khan Academy, KHAN Academy, then you have every topic there being broken down into steps. So she has a topic she's having problems with. That's like the best tutor. It's now they're now expanding to literacy, but now their specialty was actually math, Khan Academy. And I always share that with teachers, and they have had students, like they have a computer in the classroom, they would have assigned students like, I want you to go to Khan Academy for this topic, this topic, this topic. And also that teacher should also have through assessment, if you see student, like, I guess this is what I did when I was a teacher. When I have a student that's a D and F student, and I know the student should have more potential, well, I guess I made it a rule, when somebody has a D or F, the paper has to be signed by parents, because I want the parents to know that we have a struggle here and we need to work together. And if I have a C and some kid is supposed to be an A and B, but there's a C, I still send that home. And that's why the communication there would start, the conversation saying, hey, what's going on? I put a note there saying, hey, can you please call me? All this, this is call me. I need for you to talk to me about this and all this. Or I would email the teacher with a picture of the, with a picture of the work, all this, let's talk about this. I really want, so-and-so to succeed. So let's talk about this. I want her to succeed. And also schools are supposed to have tutoring programs. This teacher could have, recommended the student to be sent to tutoring school. Also, this is a big one, by the way, since you are from India and you are ESL, they have a requirement by law to meet the needs of ESL students. You need to say, that's my student, is my student in the ESL program, because English is a second language to my niece. And is that in ESL? If they've not done that, you have not followed the rules. I was an ESL coordinator. That's how I know the rules. So they have the office of something rights. Oh, anyway, there's an office there that you can call, that if they come to the school, they're in big trouble, because they will audit the school. And if that's a federal law that they did not follow. And so all you have to do is say to the administrator, I need to know if you have an ESL program that's supporting my child, my niece. Because if not, within 30 days, they're supposed to have placed your child. If English, if a language is spoken in the home language survey, HLS, if the home language survey that they are supposed to send at the beginning of the year, if it says that English is, other than English, is being spoken at home, which you might, do you speak Indian language there? Okay, yes, on that one, then they are supposed to put her in the ESL program. Okay, that sometime USL program, they could actually have a teacher. Sometimes they just being checked by, they just monitor you, make sure you're succeeding. And if not, they're supposed to give you like extra help. Okay, and they are getting extra money. How many ESL students that they have at that time? When I was administrator, we were getting $500 for every child, every year. So if you have 20 of them, you're getting $10,000 extra just to help these children. So we bought like language programs. So we bought different things like that, because you have to spend it on ESL. So if she is an ESL, if she's counted as an ESL and they have not been helping her, they are actually the civil rights office need to know that. Okay? Because that is a law. That is a law that they need. You might want to Google ESL. You might want to Google rights of students under ESL program, because that's a Title I, I think anyway. So that is a big deal, by the way. When this happened to me here in town, okay? I taught in Salem for 15 years, so they know me really well. I taught here. And so then a Filipino friend of mine moved here from the Philippines, and her children from Manila, from the Philippines, came here. Well, one of them got bullied, really got bullied bad, like pushed like that. They had cameras. And then she would say, and they will never believe it. So they asked me, Merlina, can you call them? So I called them and told them, hey, you know what? I was ESL coordinator at Greenbrier, and this is how I know this law. And I said, I don't think you want this civil rights law people to office to come here, do you? And I said, I don't want you to trouble you guys. I used to teach here. So I want to protect you. I do not want to hurt you. That's why I said, oh my gosh, they had like a meeting. They invited me. I was the advocate. I had a meeting, attended by the teachers and all. That was like a big deal, because it is a big deal. Whenever you mention those and you act like the rules, oh my gosh, they're so afraid, because you know what? They're afraid of the lawsuit, because if there is a lawsuit including that and they are not following the rules, you could get millions, you see. You could get hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, and they're being fined and so on. So they're afraid of the word lawsuit. I just want to tell you that. But don't ever say my name. Don't ever say, oh my God. I don't want anybody to get me. But anyway, just kind of research out on your own. Just and see what the laws entail. How are these are children with language needs. Okay.
Right.
They're not addressing that. And that is under federal law. So yeah. So you need to check that and ask for tutor. You could ask for anything, by the way. If you feel like you ask for a meeting, okay, you need that meeting. I forgot the name of it. There is a name of it where it's called the something committee. The committee where it involves the committee, ESL committee, but there's another name for it. Anyway, it involves the teacher, the ESL person, the counselor, an administrator, and then whoever other teachers they involve, usually 5 or more people involved, and the parents. You're supposed to meet with them the first 30 days of school. And we are supposed to do that every year. So if you've not done that, how many years have your niece been here?
She's just been here only a year. She's in high school
now. They broke the rule for a year already. So yeah. So they broke the rule. They broke the rule last year, all year long. So because they're supposed to do that, and they're supposed to like monitor and seeing, like they have a test that they give them to see their level. She may have given the test, but they did not share with you. They're supposed to share with you in a meeting, saying where the level of your students are and so on. They have a monitoring thing going on.
Okay.
They've not been doing that. They are not doing anything, sounds like. And that is
I don't know. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah. So ESL,
this Zoom meeting with you,
just like special ed. Yeah. If you special ed is even worse. If you have a special ed student, they're not meeting the needs, like big time lawsuit. I have a school nearby here that have 2 lawsuits going. And they, a lot of time they settle with them, and it takes thousands of dollars to settle with them. And we have, they found out a parent that was just going from one state to another doing lawsuits, making money, because school did not want to mess with lawsuit, because that's like the biggest word that they don't want to be at school is involved in. So if you have a parent that's gutsy and would not be afraid of a lawsuit, you say the L word, they don't like that at all. But you better not say, just like the word, don't say it unless
right.
You better be about to do it. Okay, well, we really got deep on this conversation today, so I'm sorry that it took long, but it's Elizabeth, you look like your face look like you have learned something. So what did you learn?
Yes, I've learned a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, like what did you learn? What's the most important thing that you take away? What's your takeaway? Put you in a spot.
Yeah, I think like I was trying to I have my take home was to take some information about the interview, and then you told me that about the reflection, and then to collaborate and all this. So I've got some information, this and that, yeah, it's been very helpful, and I'll put it in, and then hopefully I'll get through the interview. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should. You're very fluent. And that's a part of that. 80% of it is like fluency. They're observing how fluent you are in English. If you struggle in looking for words, you're not fluent yet, they're gonna, I don't know. I don't know if the students will understand this person. That's part of it. That's another thing I observe also, how fluent teachers are. Because if you're not very fluent, then you need to have more practice, you know. Yeah. That's why, you know, in the Philippines, they actually teach their kids now really young to have speak English. The nannies are speaking English to the kids. They're not speaking, you know. When I went to international school in Manila to do, and I do accreditation visits, you know, I lead a team, and in Taguig, that's one of the really rich place in Manila. They, you know what their subject that they're having the most tutoring in? Tagalog, which is the native tongue, because the students did not know about it, because the whole time, especially these rich kids, they're, you know, millionaires, multi-millionaires kids, and they go there with their nannies. They speak in English to them, and so they don't know the Tagalog at all. So they have the biggest class in tutoring is in Tagalog. I was really shocked when I found out about that. And so you also need to have a good balance, because my kids are like telling me, my two kids, 24 and 32, both college graduates. Now one's a doctor. She said, Mom, I can't believe you didn't make us bilingual. So you need to make sure that you have bilingual. You need to continue to speak your language, because you don't want to ever forget that, because in America, being bilingual, trilingual, whatever, quadrilingual is an advantage. Yeah, it's really an advantage. And my kid, here's my kid in Hawaii, a psychologist, school psychologist, and the kids look like her because they're mostly Filipinos, half Filipinos, and she doesn't speak the language. They try to speak language to her. And she said, oh, speak in English. I don't know it. I was born in Arkansas. And my mom is a teacher, but did not teach me her language. Because at that back at that time, the research was showing that if you teach your kids another language, that they will get confused. But later on, the research got corrected, saying, nope, we're wrong about that. It's really good to teach them their native tongue, because the rules of the language will translate to the rules of English. So you have to know the rules of your native tongue in order for you to translate it to the rules of the syntax in English. And so that's the better research, I think. And so I wish that research came out in the 1990s, you know, whenever I first have children. But yeah, so now my kids are like, oh, Mom, you know. So, but you know, thankfully for them, when they got their scholarship, they actually went to Italy. My daughter went to Lima, Peru, in order to learn. He went the whole summer in order to learn the language. So they're actually more fluent than me.
Oh, wow.
The Spanish language. Not in English, not the Filipino language, but the Spanish language.
The Spanish language,
They really have to learn those, So Italian is very close to Spanish. So I went to Brazil, and Brazilian would speak Portuguese, and I was able to use my Spanish, because they're very close. There's some voice difference, but it's very close. So I was able to speak to our exchange. I used to host exchange students. So the parent of the exchange student did not speak a word of English. And I went shopping with her all day long using my Spanish. So so anyway, so those are the things that I want to share. And it's more than 3 hours already. So we better, is it 3 hours? Yeah, 3 hours. Oh my gosh, sorry. So hey, thank you again so much, and I hope you do come and talk to me again, because the more people, new people that come, or you know, people regular, you will be able to bring some topics that we need to touch on. I know, looking back at old videos, we have some that we continue to repeat, especially the National Board Core Propositions. I cannot say enough about its use. Its use in your own, not just like interview, but in your own daily teaching. You need to always remember that I need to know my students. I need to know my strategies. I need to assess them. I need to reflect and then collaborate in order for me to be a good teacher. That's what good teacher is that you know those, you apply those 5 core propositions, okay? All right, so have a great weekend, and have a good sleep for people in the Philippines. I don't know what time it is in Thailand. What time is it in Thailand?
Thailand, it's 11:05 right now.
It's still night. All right. For the US folks, have a great weekend. I know you may have plans. It's a good day. It's very hot in Arkansas, more than 100. So anyway.
Yes.
So yeah, is it in yours, Mike? What is your temperature in Helena? More than 100?
I didn't check, but I didn't check. Maybe. Yeah, but yesterday it's too hot here. But I told them, okay. Actually, I used to it because in Qatar it's hotter.
I get it. And every day, All right. Well, thank you so much. And
thank you so much.
Bye. See you again next soon.
Yes, Rena, you have to come visit us in Arkansas, Rena.
I will.
Okay, you have an open
I'll
invitation.
come for some adobo and lechon with some curry.
You have an open invitation. If you want to come middle of September, you can. All right, bye.
All right, thank
Bye,
you.
bye,
Thank you
Bye.
for
Thanks,
attending. There you go.
everyone.
There's Annie, there's Rena, there's Elizabeth.
Thanks, everyone. Good night. Morning.
Bye. I didn't get to talk to you, Berna. Okay, Maverick is here. Thank you for coming. All right, so
Thank you, Miss Merlina. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. See you in 2 weeks. Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
All right, bye.